It's not Eable. It's a pentakill.
Second, they'll find a second. Chippy is on an absolute tear right now.
The day is speeding by. We're already into our second best of two. Mammoth up against Chiefs. There's a lot going on here, a lot to break down. We're having a bit of a cheeky laugh over.
Don't worry about me, mate. Worry about yourself.
Oh, Screw's in his own mind over there, just wondering about random things. This matchup, we thought this was going to be the closer one, Max.
Well, I think
Or the most entertaining. Both.
the most entertaining.
Most entertaining.
They got the most entertaining award because these are both teams that I can see making deep runs in the playoffs. Chiefs obviously sitting alone atop the standings at a clean 2 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. Mammoth having taken 2 draws off of top teams. As we take a look at their roster now, Yersan slotting in last week for his debut in the region and looked absolutely dominant.
Yeah, their showing last week was up against Team Bliss. They had a draw there, so it was very phenomenal. Mammoth having 2 draws for themselves. But yeah, Yerson sort of slotting in, standing out. Is he someone that's caught your eyes, Poltron?
I mean, for sure. I think Yerson had some of the best performances on these engaged picks so far in Split 2, right? Especially as Alistair, like against Bliss in the series that we're seeing. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Find those angles.
Sorry, I was just going to say, to have a debut like that into a team like Bliss, who were your finalists, to sort of showcase your potential, where we're all screaming, it's Zerayumi, Zerayumi's like, nah, mate, look, me and Alistair right here, right now. Max has hyped it up, and he did so much work on it, right? So, literally the only player that we were looking at before in the world playing this champion on this patch right now. So, really high expectations, really excited to see how he fares into something like Aladoric, who we've usually said is the go-to support in the region. Now you've got the likes of him and Arkia all to try and contest that title.
Yeah, we had Mammoth up against Team Bliss. Like you said, one of the Split 1 finalists. Now they've got to come up against another finalist, or the champions in Chiefs. And you already highlighted that matchup with supports in Aladoric, what's going to be happening in the bottom lane. But Kevy going to be in. There's not going to be any change-ups on what they want to do for jungle players, Max.
Well, we're not sure. They did change the jungle midway through the series last time, but this is the first real test for Chiefs, right? They played up against Vertex rather, and now Kanga in their second week. Both teams towards the bottom ending of the standing. So this is going to be their first real showing against the team that we can realistically think challenge them. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they do remain as dominant as they have been in their last 4 games.
But that's the question for me, right? Because if you look at Chiefs stats right now, they look so overinflated. Like it's like 100%. It's like the most clean grading card from score you could ever see, right? All the kills, all the barons, all the turrets, all the plates, all the drag. Like it's just flawless across the board. So I think this, as you say, is the big real test for them. And I mean, despite all that, they're still hitting their strides. I mean, Kislei's had the most kills in a single game, like what, 14 on the Jace. So you're still expecting them to be the ones to be the favorites here. But I'm really excited to see if Mammoth can just continue to upset the odds and say, like, we've beaten big teams before, we'll do it again.
Yeah, I want to pick your brains some more about these matchups, Poltron. But first, we get to talk to our players. We get some more insight. We've got Dajong here. Hey, man, what's happening? How are you feeling coming up against Chiefs? I mean, it's a big task.
Hey guys, feeling good. I think our whole team's feeling pretty good about this matchup. We all expect to do well, and I guess we'll prove tonight.
Yeah, what is going to be the focus when you come into this? Is it going to be a really heavy hand on the bot lane, sort of something that you want to make sure is going to be shut down there? Or is this just we kind of need to treat it as a whole entity and there's nothing specific when it comes to Chiefs?
I don't want to say too much, but obviously there are certain points we want to attack and certain points we think that we're a lot better than them at, and that's the things we need to focus on. I think we just keep playing our game and don't just get wrapped into playing their game. I think we'll do very well.
Okay.
Nice. I do have one question for you, but before I get to the question, obviously we saw you play both Bliss and Pantanet, getting a win off them both. What is the team dynamic changed? Obviously your whole roster's different. You're the only core player from Split 1?
From the previous split?
Yeah,
or
previous
from
split.
Start of this split. I think the whole like vibe of the team is very different. Like all of us expect to finish first. That's our end goal for sure. We're not really playing particularly for each game at a time. Like we don't care if we go 2-0, 2-0-2. Obviously 2-0 is a lot better, but it's mostly about improving as a team and seeing who's best at the end.
You guys have had a lot of improvement already in this split, but Dajong, we're going to let you go, let you get ready for this series. Good luck and thanks for joining us.
All right, thank you.
See ya. Pretty brief, quick interview.
Brief? Nicer than nice and clean.
Yeah, it is. Maybe that series is going to be like this one as well. But I like him talking about that. Even though the end goal is always going to be coming first, you also have to focus on what you don't want. And they don't want to be 0-2.
Yeah.
It makes sense points-wise. But
small wins add up.
that's it exactly. Couldn't have put it better myself. Here's Kim.
Yeah.
What are you reading over there?
Stats.
Oh.
Nat stats.
Yeah, what's some stats?
Well, back in 2020,
Yeah.
a snack was... No, I'm not going to talk about that. I think that's already finished.
That one is already finished. So we're just going to jump on into our next interview. BioPanther is going to be waiting for us and joining for us here. Hey, Bio, long time no talk. How are you going?
Yeah, it's been so long. I feel like you coming back is like a actual throwback. I actually like enjoy the cast a lot, so I think it's good.
Oh, that's good. I appreciate it. What has life been like for you? Obviously, you've kind of been dominating on Chiefs. Is there going to be anything different in this split for Chiefs?
I just really want to have the same mentality as I did in Split 1. I just want to win everything. I just want to be the best player I can be for PCS, and like I don't want to disrespect any team, and I feel like Mammoth is like the dark horse, so I am quite excited to play against them and see how they like fare up against us.
Do you think a lot of people are still underestimating Mammoth or even you guys on Chiefs, or do you think for LCO that's changed a lot, that right now everyone is a contender?
I feel like they could be like top 2, top 3. Like,
wow.
Like 100%. Like at the end of the split, they should be top 2 or top 3. Like I don't see any other team that could. They're just very like a wild card. You know, they could lose a lot of games or they'll just win the whole thing. And I just feel like you should just always respect teams like that where they have that X factor. And yeah, that's just my opinion on that, like the team in general.
Awesome.
So BioPanther, Mammoth top 2 or top 3, eh? Who's the third team, eh? Who's the third team?
The third team.
Yeah,
it's
the third
Bliss
team.
or Divals.
Bliss or Divals,
Bliss.
eh?
Yeah.
I've got a lot of work to
Like,
do as a coach there.
I want to see how like Arkia fares up like over time, but at the end of the day, I feel like all teams have like these roster changes, and it's gonna be like slowly, gradually gonna get better and better, and it's just like, oh, who's gonna be the best at the end of the day? So I just want to make sure that we can keep our Split 1 like title and just be the Split 2 champions. So
It's great.
Do you have anything else to add?
You confident for a 2-0 today?
Oh, of course. Like I am just always ready. I feel like Thien is not as good as Zoran is or Lived, in my opinion, but like he is up there. So I still
don't want to
have to respect
underestimate
his poppy picks. Yeah,
don't
you never
underestimate
underestimate your opponents.
these top laners.
And I think that like at the end of the day, they're like, I'm just prepared. I know what I'm gonna play, and I feel like he should be scared about that.
You talk a lot about keeping this mentality. Obviously, you guys want to stay on top. Is Kevy a player that has slotted in, has that similar mentality for you guys, and has really helped potentially even elevated that mentality or that sort of vision for you?
I think having just more people just to talk to about the game and having like 2 junglers just impacts the team as a whole, because I feel like you're not as like narrow-minded and you're just stuck in your ways. So I feel like adding Kevy is like a big thing, and I also worked with him in like last year on order, so
yeah.
I just feel like I can just work very easily with him, and it's just easy synergy. So
perfect. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck today.
thanks so much.
See ya.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya. See ya.
It's been so long since I last spoke to BioPanther. I forgot we haven't interviewed him at all this split. So it's been like a solid 2 years since I last talked to him.
A throwback, like he said.
It really was. It's come full circle. And we're going to come full circles. We're going to talk about side select. Let's see what these boys picked for themselves.
Ooh.
The collective the big old spicy red side pick that we do see there. So Mammoth are going to have blue side 2 games in a row. Chiefs going to be having red side 2 games in a row. Do you think that's going to influence our Dare fan vote, where people might think the series is going to go?
I think it's actually quite impactful. I think when you're looking at this series and the individual matchups, to me, the one that stands out is the mid lane. Darjung versus Kisei, probably the biggest disparity. And when you're picking red side, you are saying that we're going to look to exploit that matchup. We're going to look to get Kisei in a position of power to really take over that game.
If you guys didn't know, all the way in that top corner, you can put in your channel points right there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
That'll be your Dare fan vote.
That's
but
the wrist chair, I tell you what.
Ooh.
Blue steel.
I want to see where our predictions went. I'm going to have a bit of a sneaking suspicion that maybe the 4 of us might have all gone for this 2-0
Hey, nice score,
on
mate.
Chiefs.
Yeah, nice score,
Well done,
bro.
brother.
Yeah, looking good.
Look at us.
Great prediction that you have there. Rusty falling a little bit behind, but he's also on board with us for a 2-0 of Chiefs, a Twitch chat. You guys did well in that previous one too. We'll see if you're going to be able to do it for this one. Very quickly, Polytron, before we have champs, like before the game does start, a 2-0 for Chiefs. Why? Red side.
Well,
I thought you were
first
talking
off-
about the buff of blue side.
Well, I don't know I wasn't sure of what side Chiefs would pick, but again, everyone's picking 2-0, right? This is copy my homework, but don't make it obvious, but we made it obvious. I chose, just so everyone here knows, I said 2-0 Chiefs first, and then everyone else was like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, 2-0 as well.
Hey,
2-0 as well.
Expose us
look,
all.
Chiefs, like you
Yeah, I
said,
did
they've
it.
been hitting their marks all the way up to here. Great team from Split 1. I expect them to be
Thanks,
that
coach.
winning team from Split 2.
Cheers,
Or
mate.
for Split 2.
Perfect. Beautiful. He's not lying. There's only facts coming out from Poltron's mouth. I got another fact. Champ Selector's ready.
Beautiful. Well, let's crack on with this absolute banger. Mammoth Esports Club have really defied odds, all split so long. Can they defy one more and take down the champions, Max?
Interesting that there's going to be a blue side Milio ban coming out straight away, right? Saying that we don't want to place that first pick priority, and that makes sense with what we've heard of Yosan before, right? He's that more engaged player, doesn't want to waste time on these enchanters when he could be solo winning a team fight with a massive engage on something like an Alistar.
An Alistar, Blitz, a Fresh, any of those kind of champions. Speaking of the Blitz, it's been a long, long time since we last saw it, right? And we did see Aladoric play it last week. I want to say it's like been a couple of years since we last saw a champion come into effect, and it's going to be really exciting, in particular for me at least, to see, okay, Yosan's bust onto the scene, had an MVP performance, but how does Aladoric square up against that?
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be his first real test against these two import supports who've come in, and you know, before even playing against him, we've put them up there in the discussion of top 3 supports in the league, and Aladoric really wanting to say that, hey, no, look, I am the best support in the region still. Import as many players as you like, and I will still come out on top. So, going to be the Cassante top taken first. No real surprises there. Could head towards the mid lane as well with that flexible capability of the champions. And the answer is going to be the Annie. Now, obviously on this patch, Annie moving more towards a mid-only pick. Yep. And with the Viego paired, creates a huge potential for this really explosive one-shot combo around that mid-jungle.
Feels very Kevy-esque though, doesn't it, right? You know, give me the tools to try and carry, give me an easy partner to try and set up some CC, give me the uptime, give me the damage, and we will get it done. But Mammoth aren't wasting any time with their draft. And he's just going to slam a Zaya Rakan response and say, Chiefs, game on.
Yeah, absolutely. A very potent bot lane gives both Cheon the opportunity to negate a bit of that one-shot potential we were talking about, as well as providing a lot of avenues for Yosan to find engages. And you know, picking Aladoric's champion against him, he's Rakan so feared in this league for a reason, and going to be taking up that Lovers duo in the bot lane. Aphelios will be the response. Win rate not looking too good, but if there's any player who can turn that around, it's Raze.
It certainly would be a champion that he feels ever so at ease with and got the pentakill with, right? At DreamHack when they won their second back-to-back titles, so no doubt a champion he's going to be feeling like it's going to deliver justice when it is required. I'm excited to see really where things go, right? Because Sully has had his Kha'Zix banned away. Last time he played back-to-back games of Hecarim and showed very distinct styles between games 1 and 2, right? Super farm heavy versus just super gank heavy. I'm curious to see how his matchup's going to fare into the likes of Kevy, who we know wants to be obviously a big carry player as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Respect ban coming out for that Kha'Zix, making sure that Sully is not able to get the pick that he was quite annoying on with the Dustblade changes, with the fact that he's this assassin able to run the map. But looking at the bot lane for me is really where I'm interested in Nor and Leona both being removed for the side of Aladoric. Thresh still available, and that is potentially what he's going to look towards, hovering the Alistar in Yosan's face there. But you would expect that, you know, with the Aphelios having already been picked, this Thresh, just such a potent combo, provides so many opportunities to bring the Viego down and create some nice 3v3 plays there.
So it does, the protection, but also just the ability to set plays up quite nicely and try and deny them away from a good Rakan or a Cassante disengage, right? That sort of just takes out one of your carries and into really no man's land, especially now that you're considering a Poppy, which is going to get locked in, which we know that TN is very at ease with. And we talked about Sully being a bit of an AP demon, and he's locked in the Karthus to showcase just that.
Now, this was the pick. I don't know if anyone in chat remembers this, but Sully went through a phase where he had an account called Dark Eyes, and he reached about 1,000 LP with an 80% win rate, playing exclusively Karthus and Evelynn. So this guy, if there's anyone who can pilot it, it's him. Certainly a great game for it as well, right? You look at the side of Chiefs, not that many tanky members. The Gragas will be the 5P, but apart from that, you've got a full AD comp on Mammoth, and he's going to be able to provide so much damage coming over the top of Mammoth.
Really exciting to see the Karthus come back into effect again and showcase, okay, well, if you want to gank heavy, then I'm going to be farming up an absolute storm, and if you try and take a fight, forget about that red laser beam in the sky, right? Because these fights are not going to be fair. The global pressure is going to be a little bit too much to bear. Flip the script, though, for Chiefs. It's going to be a final pick onto a Gragas, which usually is locked in the first 3 rotation, right? And we already looked at the start of the day as to how strong that top lane Gragas is. 100% win rate. No doubt Biopanther will be looking to keep that the same.
It's definitely an interesting Gragas pick. To me, it signals that they are wanting to go for full 5v5. You know, you can index into a potential split push champion there with your 5P, but Gragas saying, no, I want to keep my Aphelios alive, I want to create picks, and we know Biopanther, known for his engages, known for his team fighting, so able to provide a lot of space creation and a lot of disruption for the side of the Chiefs roster.
Yeah, I think about one of their games up against Vertex in particular, where he was literally smurfing a lot of those fights in terms of his body slams, his casks, his guaranteed Everfrost. The setup was just unbelievable, right? So it's great to see it come into effect again and try and be a bit of a neutralizing lane into the Poppy. But I've got my eyes so much fixated on this jungle matchup, right? Who can excel more? Who can, when styles clash? I mean, we talked about this last time when it was Sully up against Why Not? We thought that was going to be the conversation again. And we definitely saw moments of, okay, yeah, these styles are clashing and one has to concede. Okay, I'll be the farmer this time. You'll be the ganker. I wonder if that's going to be the same story here today.
Yeah, it definitely could be the case. And looking at the sides of Mammoth solo lanes, you've got a Poppy and you've got a Cassante. Both of these champions are essentially existing to facilitate Karthus in that early and basically every stage of the game, right? Providing that CC, making sure he's able to get through his clear unimpeded and get to that late game stage. Because if you look at the farming speeds, sure, they're decently comparable at points, but like you mentioned, Viego is going to want to play a more gank-heavy playstyle, whereas Karthus is completely fine just going 10 CS per minute, full clearing on repeat.
So he just wants to lay waste to his opposition here, Max, as we load into the Rift for our second series of the night. Chiefs undefeated so far, with 2 wins to the names. As for Mammoth, though, their strength of schedule has been verse the big dogs and draw against them as well. Can they look to try and pluck a little bit of misery from an opposition once again, and perhaps go one step further and get a win of their own?
That's absolutely what you'd be hoping for if you are a Mammoth fan. They mentioned it in their interviews. Biopanther giving them respect of being the second best team in the league. And I know that those players are not going to be content with just coming in runners-up. So to me, this bot lane is going to be the most exciting part of the entire map. When I look at the Zyra Khan lane into Aphelios Thresh, particularly seeing Yersan match up against someone of the level of Aladoric and really seeing that micro mechanics game in between those two supports is going to be a blinder to watch.
Now, a fun fact that production gave to us before this game actually started is that this will be Biopanther's 150th game here in the LCO. He's the most.
Wow.
He's played the most games of anybody in the LCO. Not too far behind him is Kisei at 146. So between the two of them, they've spent a fair bit of time playing this game and keeping up with the fact that I've been around since OPL days and I'm still kicking it here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Biopanther, I mean, you speak about preserved excellence, and he has been someone who has always been at the top, much like Kisei has always been on a contender, is already fighting onto Raze.
Already looking to try and get the kill onto Raze. Is that a flash to match?
Oh.
And a flash to kill. Yersan said, input difference.
Okay. Well, I mean, what better way to mark your stamp on the game than by getting a kill before 2 minutes even happens? It's that potency of Zyra Khan level 1. Zyra taking the W and the grand entrance landing. Raze going down. Not only that, but using double sums.
It's not very often domestically we see the Chiefs bot lane fall victim to a level 2 all-in like that. And to be down 0-1 so early on certainly sets ourselves up for a very exciting game here.
Yeah, and it's uncharacteristic, right? You talked about it. It's not very often at all. In fact, I can't remember the most recent time we've seen the Chiefs bot lane fall victim to a play like this. And that really raises the question, right? This is a Chiefs roster who historically has been so used to Raze and Aladoric having this point of power in their games. If they fall behind, how do the Chiefs recover?
That's the question, right? Given that it is such an 80-centric meta, and we know that Cheon is a really strong candidate to try and answer back the AD carry role as well. I mean, I would always refer to the fact that he got that pentakill into the Chiefs many moons ago, and I'm sure he's just looking to try and prove his worth once again, and I feel like he's found it on a Mammoth roster like this. Yeah,
definitely a lot of threats on this Mammoth team. Talking about the full clear speed, Sully has already completed his, potentially looking to find Kevy in his jungle. Meanwhile, this mid lane matchup, so hard for Annie to get anything done, really. It's a very neutral matchup, and the majority of your value comes from finding the picks on the other lanes of the map, on the other skirmishes that are going to pop up. But right now, both junglers potentially meeting each other in the river here, Skimmy.
Aladoric's found the hook, but the grand entrance is there to retaliate straight away. Flay goes out, Raze with the red weapon is looking to life leech up an absolute storm right now. The bot lane of Mammoth are down to 50%. Sully also shares that same fate as they're all crippled, they're all low, and Kevy's just squaring up for an execute. Double flash to disengage, Kevy looking for the stun, and now he does connect. Both supports now get both the kills. Sully though, from the afterlife, gets another, and Yersan tries to run for the hills, but Raze has got him locked in his sights.
It looked good for Mammoth to start off that play, finding the route onto Aladoric, but it's Kevy who gets there, and Kisei ultimately the difference maker, roaming down to secure that second kill. But already we can see that these teams have such a healthy respect for one another. The flash coming out of Sully at the perfect time, acknowledging Kevy was going forward. As we take a look once again, Hook lands initially onto the Xayah, Ignite comes out, but they just don't have the damage. Shout out to Yosun for a great grand entrance that provides a lot of space. But it's Sully who gets caught on the back end of this play. It
is. I mean, he went for the invade on towards Kevy, then realized that I've been completely routed out. We got to flash away to safety, but Kisei, as you mentioned, was the only one that rotated. Well, what's the big difference?
Yep, absolutely. Kevy, unfortunately, not getting the chance to pick up the Karthus. This is one of the cons of this Viego-Karthus interaction, is that when you pick up the Karthus pre-6, you are stuck as this fragile, slow, immobile champion who can't really get much done, and you're playing into the Karthus passive, right? That's just inherent to how those two passives interact. So you're ending up going to go down most of the time. That being said, Chiefs getting right back into it, playing around this mid-jungle, acknowledging that the bot lane, no sums now, a potential avenue to attack.
It's going to be a scary place to be right now, as could be the fate of Kevy, who's not going to get knocked up there by the Entofo strikes. He's going to be able to take a lantern to safety, back into the sanctuary of the river, where the rest of his team are there to protect and return him back to his function. I feel like this mid lane is one of those ones where it's a big onus on how good are you as the K'Sante to try and execute, because I've seen so many times where Annie goes and just drops the Tibbers, gets some first strike value and says, all right, that is sort of the separating, you know, keep you at arm's length.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be on Daejong to try to find these limited windows of opportunity, potentially grab the Annie under turret once she has casted something like that Tibbers. But that being said, Kisei, a very good player, knows his windows, knows when to respect, and realistically, just going to be able to hover into the river. That's going to be his main function as his first dragon goes down to the side of the Chiefs.
Sully was interested there for a second, but without a level 6 for both junglers, never really looked like get a window to try and make that one happen. Darshan completely separated from the rest of his team, and it's just an easy Tibbers. It's a fantastic stun, and it's an opportunity for Raze to get his second of the game already. Yosun's run the wrong side of the map, looking to try and cause a little bit of havoc here, but going to get stunned, CC'd, flayed, and knocked back, and taken away! He burned a flash, Max! Oh, no!
That was a bit of a jump scare. It was coming up from the Hex Flash, so he was trying to buy as much time as possible, but ends up going down. That's one of those flashes, you know, as soon as you press it, you're kind of thinking, why did I do that? But ultimately, it starts off with Daejong thinking he's a 6-item K'Sante, walking and face-checking the bush. Chiefs realize, hey, we can just turn and one-shot this guy, and that's just an easy pick for them.
Certainly is. A lot of respect shown to the ability to say, well, why are you stepping up that early, this aggressive? We know you are a very strong champion, but we're not going to be too frightened of you at this early portion of the game. Dare fan vote there.
Whoa.
75% of you believing that Chiefs should take this one out, as Tien says, look at this, I can do a magic trick, I can get one shot, nearly. Good flash away to deny the cask.
Name a more iconic duo than Tien on Poppy and greeting on the turret and almost dying. There, he luckily doesn't, because he flashes the explosive cask, but once again, it feels like Tien has such a lead in these lanes, then he goes and does something like that that completely undoes it all. So, you know, classic Tien.
I was curious to see which way Tien was trying to approach this one up against his old organization and the Chiefs, right? Would he go for the old picks of, you know, all the carries that he has in his back locker, or is it like, you know, top lane is just play Bruiser, play Engage, and do as you like? Because we've seen him countless times play things like the Vayne, the Kindred, the Urgot, anything crazy that, you know, that Biofan was like, well, that's my comfort zone, let's play crazy.
Yeah, historically, he's absolutely been a very prolific carry player. I think this game, he sort of plays the Poppy like a carry in the laning phase, in that he is very conscious of trying to gain leads, whether that be through plates or CS. He did it quite effectively against K'Sante in this same matchup, but when you're against a player like Biopanther, who is so effective at absorbing that pressure, you need to not be slipping up like he did there under the turret and giving him windows back into the lane.
Yeah, very nearly got himself solo boloed, which would have been a bit of a disaster, as Yosun is lucky to just evade the max reach there off the death sentence. But it certainly doesn't look like we're going to slow things down in this bot lane whatsoever, because Yosun's found another opportunity. He's going to jump in there, as Aladoric looks to try and flash away and get a death sentence in retreat. And both supports really answering that call. Who is the best support in Oceania right now?
Yeah, it's tricky, right? The Hex Flash, meaning Aladoric had to react at basically an inhuman speed, ends up having to use the flash to get out there. But showing Yosun once again that he's not afraid. Every single opportunity, he's going to go for an engage, as we see the Rift Herald being the next point of contention. When you have a champion like Karthus, any early gold you can get onto that character just becomes so invaluable. So I'm expecting a lot of action around this objective as both supports making their way to the top river.
They certainly are. Still going to start things off right now, but it is going to reveal that Bio and Kevy are on the way. Will be a 2v2, but Chiefs look to try and get here a little bit quicker than their opposition. And neither side looking to back away anytime soon. The wall goes down, tries to zone back Kevy, but he's just waiting for time.
Cheon's here.
Your son is there. Cheon now making his move known as well. Hex Flash goes across. Quickness. It's missed! They've not found who they're after. They can get a charm onto Aladoric, but that might be it. Flay, Kisei jumps in with a flash, and a tip is right after to try and make it all happen. And they found two so far. The Moonlight Vigil's just not enough to get Tien, but it is! The Chakrams for max distance guarantee it. And Kevy is in Reset City, and no Herald for Mammoth.
Kisei, the MVP of that fight. That flash tippers is huge. Kevy getting that first engage, and after that, he just runs the fight. Crucially, Yersan unable to find that quickness plus grand entrance combo. As we take a look again, it's good for Mammoth, right? They had their 80 carry here before Raze is in the area, but it's Yersan's engage that doesn't find the mark. And crucially, that enables Kisei to escape, able to get out, and then have this insane flash tippers that nets them the fight win.
Such a massive swing of tempo when Mammoth have basically overcommitted that Raze can flash across the wall and just isolate out a kill a little bit too easily. And from that point onwards, I mean, this is what the Reset comp is built to do. Kill after kill, soul after soul.
And shout out Kevy there on the end of that play, flashing the feathers, ripping back through, able to pick up that last kill as well. So not only is it a massive fight win, but it's the Herald going down as well, opening up further opportunities to snowball this game. And as we take a look at the items off the back of that, Leandre is completed for Kisei, Trinity Force for Kevy, and it's really giving flashbacks to that old dominant mid-jungle of Order that ran the league back in 2022.
Yeah, the top half of this draft really is that Order squad that gave Chiefs their run for the money, which actually knocked them out from making it overseas, right? So it really is that culmination of the best of both worlds from an era where they were the two top dogs. It's exciting to see that that synergy still remains, you know, all these months and years on. And right now in a very commanding position, but it's not to be forget that, you know, Sully, despite not being able to get that objective, is up by a commanding CS lead. And it's still going to be a big threat when that Requiem gets used.
Certainly is, sitting on the Ludens, so he himself is no slouch. Keep in mind, he's got no flash here, Skimmy. Needs to be a bit careful, but there's 4 members of MEC here.
Yosun's found his moment. He's going to land a 3-man charm, and what can they get? Ezra is not off this one. The hook goes out there from Aladoric. Kisei is isolated, and Kisei is dead. Darshok has found his moment, but Raze is now 4 kills to his name. And with the red-white, what do we say? You definitely do not fight. Requiem's not enough to execute Kevy, nor is it enough to take down Aladoric. He'll get the blue buff and a bit of HP back.
Bit of nerves showing there from the Chiefs, actually, as Raze might have found Cheon.
Raze wants more. He's not done. He really does say, look, Skimmy, red and white don't fight, so I'm coming for you. But Chain is forced to go back, and with that base timing, I think this is a freebie now.
Yeah, going to go into the hands of the Chiefs, but the start of that fight looked good for Mammoth, as we see. They're getting pincered onto the Chiefs. Kisei sort of in the middle of no man's land, and Yersan finding the nice engagement with the 2 people. You can see Kevy gets a bit scared there, uses the Heartbreaker to make space for himself, meaning he's not able to really get involved too much in the fight. And it's going to be the Requiem coming down at the end of it. But after that, Raze showing up, like you mentioned, with those red-white guns, just too scary to do anything for Mammoth.
And what a monumental way to say, you've killed me at level 2 or 2 minutes into the game, but I'm still 4-1. So you've shut me down, but you've not taken me out of this game completely.
Absolutely, a true champion's mentality in terms of being able to bounce back, not letting a single setback. And to your credit, since that point, he's gone 4-0-2, currently sitting with a 400 gold bounty on a Kraken Slayer completed. So
he's up by 1,500 gold at this point, Max. I mean, that's the whole BF sword and more.
Yeah, absolutely brutal. And they're going to swap towards this top lane here, which is crucial, right? There's no one here, going to be Tien, but he is going to be able to get bullied off this turret. And we have that white gun, we have that red gun available for Aphelios, who just machine guns turrets at this stage in the game.
Certainly has been something he's done time and time again when his team have looked to try and commit members to, say, a Herald play, for example, and he just eviscerates plates as a result and gets a commanding lead, as if it's not already big enough. That's soon to become 2k, at which point you summon a Herald and say, I am so far ahead of you, Cheon. You don't want to fight us for the next 5 minutes.
TP's coming in though, Skimmy. Dajong's found a flank.
They don't know he's here right now. Vision has not been found. He's going to try and fight his way into the fight, look for the angle onto Raze, isolate him out with the all-out. He can't get it. Turns his attention onto Kevy. They may have fumbled this one. Heartbreak goes out. Charm is there. Only 1 member charmed, but they can't get the kill again. Missed execution here by Mammoth as their turret may just stay alive, but they can't get a kill to trade back anything.
You said it perfectly, Skimmy. It is a mis-execution. They see the TP coming in, but Tien just goes too early. Gets caught off, and then it's a 3v3. No longer do you have that numbers advantage. And Raze managing to get out as we have a pause. We'll get some details on that later, but right now, it could have been a good flank for Mammoth, right? Trying to punish that overextension, but Raze gets out completely unscathed. K'Sante ult not even being used. and really doesn't feel much pressure at all.
I don't think Graves can probably quite believe his luck in that affair, given the fact that, hey, we didn't have any idea that Darjun was behind us, that he could have isolated me out for free as easy as that, and that I've just been able to sort of just walk away and say, all right, guys, my bounty's still there. I still have a massive gold lead, and you've gone in one by one and tried to, execute something, but everybody's just walked away and said, you've charmed me, you've stunned me, but I'm free.
Absolutely. And that was really a big commitment as well. If we look at resources used, we've had that TP blown. We've had so many ultimates used and unable to find that kill. It really feels like Raze is starting to run away with this game. Sure, you've got the damage from the Xayah, but she's down so much gold as we previously discussed. And same with the Karthus, right? This Karthus needing to stay ahead of the curve, but his solo laners are falling behind. These frontliners who need to buy space for him are just getting shredded through. So Mammoth slowly losing their grip on this game.
Well, let's talk about it then, because obviously Chiefs are in such a commanding spot to really dictate the pace of the game as to where they go and what they force Mammoth to respond to. But then to their end, given that Chen is down such a significant margin that he needs to try and match the power, or at least find a window in which they can contest on an even state, would that favor Sully in a way? Because he can't just say, all right, guys, let's just stick to our lanes, try and play as passively as we can. I can just farm up an absolute storm and say, 2 items, hey, I'm ready to go at least.
Absolutely. The problem, though, now is how much of his jungle does he actually get to farm? Right, with Chiefs having taken these outer turrets now, with that Herald pressuring on that top tier turret, where is he actually allowed to go? Because we've seen this Viego, we've seen this Annie, we know how explosive they are if they're able to get onto you in the jungle. As right away, coming out of the replay, we can see an example of this.
Moonlight Vigil goes out, and Sully's the one that's been isolated. How did he not die? I don't believe that. What a magic trick it was between Kevy as well as Aphelios. Somehow, he's wormed his way out.
Pixel perfect flash to dodge the Heartbreaker there. The Aphelios ulti almost sealed the deal, but just not enough. And already we talked about Chiefs accelerating the game, and this has really felt like the whole split long. They take a little advantage, they take a little slip up that you make and capitalize it to blow the game right open. So now with Dragon spawning in 2 minutes 40, with some of these outer turrets still remaining towards this bot lane, you can expect the Chiefs to set up in this quadrant to get control and really make walking anywhere for Mammoth a nightmare.
Certainly can be a bit of a living nightmare right now, as those items are certainly coming on through to give them such a sizable lead. Up by 5,000 as a collective as we hit the 15-minute mark now. 2 dragons to the name, the third one to look forward to in about 2 minutes now. I don't think Mammoth will have enough time to farm up to really contest that. We'll have to wait and see how they play this one out, because they have to give up so much time and space to a river and quadrants of the map that are just fully lit up like a Christmas tree for Chiefs.
To their credit, they are doing a good job of trying to retake control as Yosan gets interrupted with the death sentence there. Aladoric not letting that level 1 play get to him at all.
The quickness is completely wasted.
Absolutely, and it's really felt like Yosan hasn't been able to make good use of that ultimate so far, really. Missing it, the mark on that Rift Herald fight, and then now getting just hooked out of it. This creates so much space for Chiefs to pressure this turret like they are now. TN, you are not that tanky, you just got a Divine Sunderer.
Waiting for Kisei to set this one up, a stun to make it all happen. He's going to try and disengage away, hits the 2-man knock-up, and flashes out and says, nice attempt, guys. 1v4, but I prevail.
Yeah, you do have to wonder if that's a bit of a misplay there from Kisei. He had the ultimate available, could have used that Q into the ult combo, and like you said, once that initial CC lands, there's so much to come that would ensure the kill, but they're still going to get the prize, they're still going to get Poppy's flash and the turret, so not feeling too bad off the back end of that, are you?
Certainly not. I mean, you could definitely make a case of you want to be greedy, you want to get a little bit more, but they're going to be content with the fact that the side lane doesn't exist right now for TN, that they will just passively push this one in with any auto attacks, more so than anything, to guarantee their second outer of this match. That frees up the rest of Chiefs then to go for a bit of a roam and look to attend and say, spot the Karthus.
Look how fast he is, though. Unfortunately, he doesn't have flash. Don't think he's going to be fast enough. Kevy.
Looking for him. He's not settled for this one. Oh, no! Dodging has literally brought support. He's here to help Sully, and Sully's like, why did you bring him to me? Raze finds 2 kills. And it's just a bit too easy, Max.
It could have been a 500 IQ play from Darjong. It could have been saying, hey, I've brought this back. Let's 2v2. Let's kill them. Not the way it works, though. And it kind of does look like you said that he just brought back another enemy to slaughter his teammate, but it is going to be the Chiefs capitalizing. It was a very fast Karthus running out with that blue smite, but he's going to go down nonetheless. And a tier 2 turret Raze all by himself and the Herald skimmy. Chiefs are rolling over this game.
And he's just so strong. He doesn't even need to care about his itemization. I mean, it's been such a long time since we've seen Collector picked up. He's locked it in, 7-1 at 16 minutes. Why would you not? Another turret gets shredded on down by the Chakrams. Another case of his team just on autopilot really here, rotating between the lanes, going through the motions, picking up gold, picking up momentum, and picking up the ability to close this game out in a very quick fashion.
And they're doing a great job, right? When you look at the side of Mammoth, they're really only engaged towards either a Cassante flank or this Rakan. Speaking of a flank, Tien is coming in here. The Requiem channel doesn't do anything. This could be a fight, Skimmy.
So it could be Tien is isolated, a blast cone will get him out of harm's way, and there's no way that Chiefs will run that one down. Not interested, not concerned. Objective bounty here for Mammoth. We know that Sully is pretty clean when it comes to these objective steals, but would he go for this one? No ultimate. But would he commit his life for the afterlife? Fox goes down, entertaining the idea of a potential fight breaking out. They're not going to make this one a 50-50. And look at Yersan. He's got a flash, ignite, and a quickness charm. Still in such a good spot. Kisse flashes into life, lands the Tibbers. 3 members charm, Heartbreak goes out. Kevy looking for a reset, but Raze is just too strong. He's 9-1-2, and there's nothing you can do.
Plain and simple, there is nothing you can do. Yersan finds the flank, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if your whole team is dying while you find that. When the fight starts off with the Requiem and the entire enemy team is still full health, that's probably not a good omen for things to come.
You're very concerned at that point. Hey guys, my champion's meant to literally 1v9 assassinate these people. They're not even burning. They're not even tickled. They don't even care. Business as usual. We mentioned it before. Another Dragon, another big team fight win, and 2 turrets off the back end.
And we see the replay here. It's just so hard for anyone on Mammoth to really walk forward. Even Dajang, who's their tankiest member, isn't that tanky at all when you look at how many chakrams Raze has. And you look at Yersan trying to find the flank, but meanwhile his whole team is getting machine gunned down by this Aphelios, and then the flash forward from Kisse onto the backline, taking out Dajang instantly. And after that, it doesn't matter how many people you knock up, everyone's dead on your team.
And Chan tried to be a hero with the Feather Storm out, with the feathers ripped back, a flash cleanse, trying to make it all happen. Tried to be basically an Annie, but it wasn't the case to be, just not strong enough to answer back. Still, an item and some versus Raze with 3 completed items.
Yeah, it's not even, these AD carries aren't even in the same stratosphere of dealing damage, with the Infinity Edge and Collector now online for Raze. But here we go, Mammoth desperately trying to find something in their own jungle. Sully has the flash, you have to imagine he's got to use it. And there it is, it's plain and simple. Chiefs walk into your jungle, they place their wards, and they get what they want.
And it goes to your point then, when I mentioned, okay, would this slowing down of the game allow Sully to try and farm up a Storm? No, right? Just they've lost all the agency of their own side of the map now. That Chiefs are running rampant and saying, wherever you go, we will hunt you down. As a 4-man contingent, they'll look towards him and say, you've knocked away 2, but we're still coming for you. We're still locking you down. We're still guaranteeing CC is here, and that you should be dead before the TP backup is even a factor. The hook goes out preemptively, does not connect, but it won't stop them still looking for more. You saw Sully die off screen to Raze to give him double digits, and Dajang, well, just does Cassante things.
Optimistic TP, to say the least, from Dajang there. Tien, you can see how hard it is. They can't even farm waves outside of the remnants of their tier 2 turret, because the Chiefs will just collapse and take you down. And realistically, Chiefs with this Baron, all that's left is cross your T's, dot your I's, and put the finishing touches on this game.
Certainly is a very clean demonstration of just how strong they are. When we ask the question, how good would they be? They've only gone up against some of the lowest seeded teams. Surely Mammoth give them a run for their money, but it's basically like, doesn't matter who we face, we will just steamroll.
And that's the question. They haven't really looked challenged besides that first minute, you know, where that kill happened. After that, it's really seemed like they have gotten a run for it. As you take a look at this fight again, Sully can't even get anything done versus Raze in the 1v1 situation. And on the other side of the map, there's just simply no damage without Cheon. And Sully going down, he's 1-4-2, not where he'd want to be in terms of the items, especially with that first strike. So yeah, very much on the Chiefs to have a massive misstep if they were to lose their control in this game.
Something would have to be at this stage, because you're looking down, what, 11,500 gold, being the major difference between these two teams. Huge discrepancy. As that'll be turret number 6. Looking to try and open up this base wide open and make sure that if you can flank, we don't really care. We have too much damage for that to even be a concern.
And they've seen him skimming. He's going to try to do something, but can he get onto Raze?
Requiem goes out. It barely tickles them. Raze is the focus. Goes golden for the meantime. Needs a team to try and back him up. Charm is there. Lantern, is it there?
He's dead.
It's not. They found the shutdown, and it goes to Churn. That's exactly who you need it to go towards. Mid lane, the structure does fall on down. They've opened up an exposed inhibitor. But I think, honestly, for Mammoth, they're going to be very happy with that.
That's absolutely huge, right? They take down Raze. That's the biggest factor in pushing these turrets. They're going to buy themselves a lot of time, and shout out to Dajang, right? It's the third time they've tried to find a flank, and this one eventually works out, ripping him back with that all out. But Chiefs, they're going to say, hey, we don't care if it's a 4v4. Our 4 is still stronger than your 4. We're going to take this turret.
They certainly will do. With the assistance of some Baron-inspired minions, they'll get the job done, and now they need to retreat. Now they need to run away. Ultimates, they do not have any, except for the box, which would have been maybe a distant after-forward if Mammoth really looked to try and overcommit. But not to be the case here. They will just disengage from the Baron, or from the base, and wait for the Raze respawn.
5 to 18 the kill score. 35 seconds on what could be a potential Chemtech soul for the Chiefs. If you're Mammoth, the question is, what point are we saying we need to fight? If we take a look at this replay once again, Requiem coming out, Dajong managing to find Raze. I want to know how much he was zoomed in there to be able to get the ultimate onto him, ripping him back across the wall, and even though the stopwatch comes out,
doesn't matter, because we're back to action, we're back to live, and we're back to seeing Sully fall on down. Unfortunately, he's been isolated in his own side of the jungle. He just wants the farm, guys. Give him a chance. And that really could not come at a worse time with a soul point right there.
Well, that absolutely answers our Dragon question. It is just going to be going over to the side of the Chiefs. That will be soul in their back pocket. And it's so hard. Sully tries to walk into his own jungle, gets caught out by Kisei. Tien, a top lane turret feeling like the only consolation prize they can really garner at this stage. And they're trying to stand up to the what feels like the inevitable onslaught of the Chiefs.
Definitely does feel that way. As you can see there, Total Gold showcasing that Raze really is in a league of his own, doubling essentially some of the players in this game in terms of how fit and farmed he is and what he's been able to achieve in this one. You'd love to see that damage breakdown post-game. But as we continue in this one, it's Yersan being CC locked like you would not believe it, but showcasing that Rakan can just be a little bit too slippery.
That's a W if you're a Mammoth fan. I mean, he got out. That's really all you could ask for at this stage in the game, but it is going to be 2 inhibitors going over. Chiefs, not one to overstep their mark. They know when they want to get that almost 100% victory, that textbook and a closeout, get all 3 inhibitors, not risk anything, any chances to slip up, but so far it really feels like Chiefs have just played this one methodically from start to finish.
No need for them to try and get a new speedrun record to try and almost set the tempo as to how this series is going to go. Almost as if they're trying to force Mammoth to wallow in this defeat and say, look, this is how the series is going to go. Dajong, you believe that you had the tools, the team, the answers to try and take down Chiefs and really give them a bit of a run for their money, but it's just not worked out this way. And I feel like if you're on the Mammoth side right now, one part of you is like, let's go for the motions and close this game out, but half of you is already thinking towards game 2.
Yeah, certainly. If you're Mammoth here, you have to be looking for another miracle flank, right? That's your only real way you're going to find any value, any hope of winning these fights is with Dajong coming from a back. Maybe it's a TP ward, maybe it's a flank naturally that he gets, but with the vision control Chiefs are going to be able to get on this next push into the top side quadrant, it's going to be really hard for him to find anything.
Well, that is the final nail on the coffin that Chiefs will be hunting to confirm. The final inhibitor there is standing between them and a completely barren base that Mammoth will be forced to turtle and defend from. You can see that Yersan once again thrown up for a massive quickness. He found a target in Kisei, who goes golden. Lantern was there, but not to be used. Raze with the Moonlight Vigil, finds one and nearly explodes into life to get 3. Tien will drop down to 50%, given that he is so tanky right now as this Poppy, but not enough to sustain the amount of damage that Chiefs are presenting. Inside their base they go. The Requiem gets dropped at 2.5 items. Once again, just barely fragile, barely tickling, and Tofo strikes onto 2, but it doesn't matter. One by one they run in. Another hook from Aladoric, proving his class. Showcasing that, hey, Yersan, you've still got a lot of catching up to do. I am the king of O's for a reason. And Chiefs will look to really end this game right here, right now, as Kevy, acting as a bit of a Carthus cosplay, keeps them locked inside the fountain as they really hit them on the base at, what, 26 minutes in to showcase that Chiefs still undefeated. It's an unbelievable turn of events here as they're going to go golden one more time, try and protect their KDAs, but not upset the balance.
This was the Chiefs' first real test, and it was a test that they passed with flying colors. It wasn't even close. Mammoth got 1 kill at the start, and beyond that, it was all Chiefs. 23-5, the final kill score, and the Chiefs proving once again why they are the most prestigious, the most dominant league in the history of the LCO.
Unbelievable. Just the class of this team once again proving that it does not matter what you try and conjure up against us. The haters perhaps have wanted to see a new team rise up and prove that, hey, it's not just a one-team league. We've had that. We certainly have. And there's a lot of hope that Mammoth can be the upsetting factor, the dark horse, like a lot of us have called them. But in this game, simply outmatched.
I thought maybe they might have had the blue side buff going for them, that maybe we would have seen it be a little bit harder for Chiefs to close out on red side. But my gosh, Poltron, they had every answer in the book. Every time Mammoth threw anything at them, they were just like, no, we actually have the upper hand here.
Yeah, I'd say, especially Yosin on the Rakan, like looking at the game, he had massive engages, right? I thought, hey, this is Mammoth's fight to win. Going in, get the one shot, get the pick, but no, it doesn't go through. Again, Chiefs just ready. They flash, they pop the stopwatch, they react. You've got that Thresh, a Lantern, always ready for any engage, and they just turn the fight on the back end.
There were some give or take moments, obviously very much in the early parts of this game that I thought Mammoth might have been able to capitalize on, but what exactly is it about the way that Chiefs play that don't allow any pickups or any small turret victories to be translated into anything bigger?
Well, I think one thing Chiefs do very well, not just against Mammoth in this game, but in general, they run other LCO teams around the map. They're always there first, they have numbers, and then the other team not ready to retaliate, right? Either forced to try match it, you're going to lose tower plays, you're going to lose the whole tower, maybe some jungle camps, whatever it is. And when it does come to the actual fights, the skirmishes and the team fights, Chiefs are ruthless. They see the engage angle, instantly going in.
I don't remember what that Raze reaction was from. That wasn't the end of the game, right?
I think it would have been when Dajong probably isolated him out for the kill when he goes golden.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
right,
oh,
yeah.
I'm just dead. my KDA, guys.
Yeah, I've seen the future before me, and it's not a bright one. But there's some stats coming up onto our screen. Another one again when we look at this gold difference, how it just significantly swings in the favor of Chiefs. There is no back and forth like we've seen in previous games before. Chiefs very much just in every aspect outclassed Mammoth over there.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite moments in that game was when Aladoric predicted the hook onto the engage that Yerson was squaring up. It just really felt like a massive battle between those two to try and really set the stage for the rest of the team to flourish. And Yerson definitely had a lot of great moments, especially the level 1 to start things off. And we're thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on here? But it never materialized into much more, right? When the team of Chiefs came together, they showcased that, hey, you can take down one of us, but we can bounce back. So yeah, banger.
And that was the name of the game for me, was really stifling the engages of Mammoth, right? Yosan finding that play level 1, but after that, there was the botched Rift Herald engage, there was that hook like you mentioned, Skimmy. And when you're playing in a comp like this, there wasn't really many engage tools besides the Rakan. So if that initial engage isn't landing, there's no time bought for the rest of your members to follow up, and then it's simply kiting back and, you know, raises a 10-1 FALs with 3 items. If you don't one-shot him, he's going to one-shot you.
Very much so. Do you think that that was the biggest downfall of the Mammoth lineup as well, Poltron? What Max was talking about, how they only have one means of engage, and if that doesn't work, then plan's over.
Well, I think the game was actually pretty close up until the Rift Herald, right? Obviously, Yorson didn't get Kisei on the Annie. He tried to engage. If they did get the one-shot, maybe the fight's different. They get the Rift Herald, the game is playable. But as soon as you miss that primary engage, no follow-up, no other engage.
Yeah.
Chiefs instantly turning, Kevy transforming, getting the resets, killing everyone as the Viego.
It's going to be very much in the corner of Mammoth, right? They're getting blue side again to change up what is going to be able to shut down Chiefs, because it feels like they had answers here in the first game. Now you worry, what are they going to have on red side again for a game number 2? And how do we change it up so we don't have, you know, any holes within our draft?
I've got an avenue for you, Poltron. Okay.
He's going to sell it to you. Elevator pitch.
Right, sell it to
Listen
me.
to me, Poltron, all right? Get ready to invest in this idea. What's going to happen? Swordy's going to slam Diana. Dajong's going to play Yasuo. Then Kevy's going to say, oh, Evelyn. And then I don't care what Kisei plays, he'll play anything, right? And they're going to have this absolute AP showdown like it's 2021 all over again. And then that's going to be like, hey, I'm here from the future, back in the past. It's just
Biopanther really has been taken back, and he's like, we've got to do it. We're going to run it back, boys.
Forget the meta picks. We're going back. We're going back to the
which
carry
AP jungler
junglers.
can dive and kill the carry first, right?
Exactly.
That literally was what it was back in the day.
I just love the hand motion that was happening with you. Where they going? I also just got one in my ear.
Shout out Ubisoft.
Shout out Ubisoft. That Mammoth going to be subbing in as well. So we're going to have this halfway mark change up. So that's another thing that you have to factor in if you are Mammoth. We're going to come up against a different jungler now who has a different, would you say has a different champion pool?
Yeah, for sure. I think they both offer a unique play style to the team. Yeah. I think Kevy is a very good carry player. Again, game 1, you saw it. I think Bibip, though, very good facilitator. You put him on Sejuani, Wukong, Vi, Maokai. These are the champions that you will see him on. These are the champions that he will perform on, help the team win.
Does that worry you for Mammoth if they couldn't shut down this idea of Chiefs having, like you said, the carry Kevy, then are they going to be able to handle 5v5s in the later game when you have Babib, who's always going to be engaging, is going to try and enable everyone else on this team?
Look, I think it's a different issue that you have to deal with, right? I think when you're looking at Babib coming in, you're more worried about the solo laners becoming online and carrying, as opposed to a game like Heavy, where the Annie exists, yes, provides a lot of damage, but also mainly to facilitate that Viego getting resets, right?
Yeah.
So to me, and this has sort of been my thinking with the whole Chief split, is when they sub in Babib, they are looking towards a more solo lane focused carry, whereas Kevi very much is an avenue to play through that jungle.
Would you like to see Mammoth rotate more, less, or to be more proactive with the rotations? Because something that sticks in my mind from game 1 was we saw the 2 junglers, so it was going to be a 3v3 bot, but then we saw Kisse come mid, right? And that was that change, that game changer in bot to be able to get a double kill back onto Mammoth.
Well, that just comes down to Mammoth needing to respect the mid roam, right? Kisse, already bot, numbers disadvantage for Mammoth. You have to just take what you can get and get out. Again, they overstayed. Maybe the comms weren't there. They thought, hey, we can win, or maybe enemy mid isn't bot. But again, take what you can get, cut it. Cut the play, that's it.
Cut it short, know when your limits are being reached. I know that we want to hear from you guys, though, from the fans. Because our question posed to you today was, which champion do you wish you got to see in pro play? We've had some good ones. We've had the Diana come up. We've had...
Zed.
Yeah? Zed?
Zed.
That's what you want to see?
Zeddy.
Who else?
It's a new t-shirt right there. Zeddy.
Zeddy. I actually now want like Zed fan art that makes him look like a dad and it just says Zeddy instead of daddy.
Oh God.
Sometimes I really...
Let's make it happen.
Sometimes I really
Tim,
wonder what goes through my mind. But
link
anyway.
us up, make the group chat happen. We'll start designing.
We're getting taken off the air.
We are. I'm never coming back. I'm never going to be rehired.
Zeddy.
Let's see what you guys have said, though. Let's see what other champions. Vex has been said out there as well. Throwing that one out. Let's run through these ones real fast.
It got banned today, so I mean, people are thinking about it. If that makes it any better.
You did see him just as a small portrait in the bottom in the bands. Another one, though. Let's see what...
We need more Ari and LeBlanc, really, eh?
Lucian, this person's wish came true. Lucian, they wanted to see him being picked up, so only Josh, and I'm sure you enjoyed that game there.
I'm hoping like next patch, when it does mean that you can play it with like Lucian Brom, for example. That's probably my favorite pairing before the Enchanters came into the fold of things. I like the idea that you could quickly proc the passive of Brom, get a stun, get a little bit more aggressive, not sort of just sit back and, you know, as you're like, wee woo, wee woo, off you go, win the game for us.
Please carry me. All right, another from the fans. I know you guys have been tweeting a lot. Swain.
Ooh. Didn't Rusty go on a rant about this with Fonts of Life? I know that's getting changed in up-and-coming patches, but Swain for me is a champion that's like, when you see it being played mid, it's either incredibly oppressive or incredibly useless. There's no real in-between, right? It's either this drain tank that sits there and never dies, or that just dies and has no damage, right? So I think that, you know, it's not the meta for it yet, but I'm down to see it.
Might get there soon. Just buff the numbers very slightly, and then, hey, Swain's back in meta, right? You're picking Silas again, counter the Swain, take the ultimate.
What noise does Swain make when he's ulting?
Squaw!
Squad?
Is that right? He becomes a bird and go, okay.
I like it.
Hopefully we'll find out soon.
I'm getting everybody on the cringe train. It's awesome.
I was gonna say that can go in your shirt, Max, over there.
Squaw, awesome. That's great.
Awesome, you love that one. Some more? Let's keep them rolling. I want to see Galio or Aatrox. Aatrox. Sorry.
Aatrox.
Aatrox. Aatrox.
Aatrox is fun. That's a good competitive champion to watch. Like getting a massive Q1 or Q2, Q3 for the enemy team, it's just awesome.
Especially with Gold Drinker, right?
Exactly.
Always Gold Drinker, never Eclipse or anything else.
When was the last time he was in?
We've seen him in this split, I want to say.
Have we?
Have we? I have a bad memory. Do not ask me.
We've seen him once this split, I think.
I'm pretty sure we saw it once. We're like, not too sure about this one. But Galio's been like a distant memory. I feel like we've not seen Galio since like the Rise TF meta, which is many, many moons ago.
I remember Galio back in 2021. Was that the year? Yep, 2021.
Yeah, it was.
All the way back then, 2 years ago.
That's what he does. My team needs me. To the skies. Whee!
That's a really good reenactment. I reckon we could get you doing charades. Skim.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, maybe one time we have to do charades or something like that. Try to guess the champion off of it. Could be very cringe. Could be very fun. I could see it's right up.
Guess the snack.
Right up Max's alley.
Yep.
But I want to jump to a break. I want to see what Game 2 has in store for us because in this best of 2, we've got that to look forward to between Mammoth and Chiefs.
Your son is there. Chain now making his move known as well. Hex Flash goes across. Quickness. It's missed! They've not found who they're after. They can get a Charmer to Aladoric, but that might be it. Blake, yes, they jumped in with a flash, and a tip is right after to try and make it all happen. And they found 2 so far. The Moonlight Vigil's just not enough to get to the end, but it is! The top crimps from Max Distance guarantee it. And Kevy is in Reset City. And not
I stay up late nights, smoking in the moonlight, tripping on how this world works, looking for some insight. Inhale, hold tight, this could be my last breath. The carbon I exhale, it's butterfly effects, but the reality is this, either one can manifest. I'm careful with my thoughts, just strive to be the best. A few things at a time, global warming to the side. Tonight, I decided just to focus on a rhyme. I'll come back to world hunger, maybe another time. Fight the need to be a hero, we all try to play the role, but I'ma heal you with the song instead. The rhythm fill your soul, that's the spirit, take control. Like to hear it? Here it goes. See, it's been a long time, so many years ago we stood in front of y'all, and these instruments provoke that voice inside your head to relax and let it go. This ain't politics, Genesis, Virginia Tech, and I'm not trying to suggest that none of that exists, but this world would be macabre if we were dwelling on that shit. So tonight, I'ma give it to you raw, in its purest form, cut it how you want it, to the moon and to the stars. We give the gift of freedom if you can find it in these bars, cause within these city limits, hard to come by in these parts, and if only for a minute, you can define it in your heart. It's the connection between us, it's where the music starts.
I'm
yes,
gonna
yes,
fall
yo.
till I fall, gonna ride till I die. I'll never give in, yo, if I wanna survive. Not gonna swallow my pride, I'll never give up, cause when it's all said and done, is what I've done enough. I push myself to the edge, I push myself to the brink. Is the toil all worth it? It makes me stop and think, but through the mud and the mire, the joy and the strife, no one can claim that I didn't live all of this beautiful life.
My instrument is evidence that I exist. The sound of hits and never quits, it's infinite. The frequency is limitless and meaningless. Attach whatever tag you wanna hang, I let it bang from right to left. And every angle in between, know what I mean in this day and age. So many seem like they're lost inside a world and held captive in a dream. A glimpse of mediocrity, take one for the team. And even though this path is long and this place is unforeseen, gotta keep your feet moving, filling spaces in between, seeing places in your dreams. If you complacent by your means, by all means go back to sleep. The path is steep, there's no rest for the weary. If you intend to reach peaks, it gets deep. Come on, it's infinite, we still climbing, yes, yes, y'all. And thanks for the positive vibes, but I still got a mountain to climb. Just take it one step at a time,
I'm gonna
yo.
fall till I fall, gonna ride till I die. I'll never give in, yo, if I wanna survive. Not gonna swallow my pride, I'll never give up, cause when it's all said and done, is what I've done enough. I push myself to the edge, I push myself to the brink. Is the toil all worth it? It makes me stop and think, but through the mud and the mire, the joy and the strife, no one can claim that I didn't live all of this beautiful life.
Some live by the pen, some die by the knife. Some may find their zen, some fly by the night. When I rhyme, I ignite the flames in your brain to stay ablaze through the night. When I take time and make time to sit down and write, a masterpiece is my...
he hooks himself back in. They want it. Kingsley's not here. It's a pentakill. Second, they'll find a second. Chippies is on an absolute tear right now.
We're going to get to see Mammoth face off against Chiefs for our second game in this best of 2 and our final 4th game for our Monday night. So, boys.
So,
no side change. No side change at all. They're going to be backing it up. Sorry, just your little friend over there trying to escape out.
Oh, it's all good.
They are going to be on the red side yet again. And Babbitt, stepping in. If these are the two things that are going to influence your pick, where you think the winners might be, then no, you can just go all the way over there. Yeah, keep going all the way up there, and you can use your channel points.
No clue.
Is it a map, guys?
It's a sapling. Maybe we'll put this one here. Oh, here's more balance up there.
I cannot move. I'm trapped. Send help.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's become part of the furniture. All the way up there, you can use your channel points. We've predicted a 2-0 for Chiefs. Everyone here, including Rusty, who isn't here. So I'll be keeping my eye on where you guys are putting your votes, Twitch chat, because it could change up. Babip stepping in, I think, is maybe going to be the biggest influence. And I don't actually have to keep talking. Thanks for your input, Poltron. Champ select is ready.
Hold on 2 seconds. Let's forget about this champion select. Let's just go back to us for a second. Can we make that happen, Laura? Can we? Can we make that happen? We don't care about them locking in Cassante. Okay. By the way, let's just see what this has to say. Oh, do you want some?
No, I was framing you drinking it.
Now I feel ready to talk about this game. Thank you so much, production.
Bang.
Thank you to you as well, Dare. What a surprise, mate. We've seen the same champions. Nothing of value was missed.
Is this literally the exact same draft? This could be a VOD. And I wouldn't be able to distinguish because we're going to have... If this is a Viego now, I would be shocked. If you sub in Babip to run back the exact same draft, that's why I don't think it will be. Just for the sake of they want to play Babip, if they want to play something a bit different. And there we go. It is going to be the Wukong, so a bit of variation already, noting the differences between the two styles of jungle as opposed to the sheer carry versus the... You know, Wukong can carry games in his own right, don't get me wrong.
And to be fair, like, we know that Babip can carry, but I feel like in recent times, at least this year on this roster, I feel like he's not needed to be the carry. He knows that the rest of his team can do that quite well. They can do it justice. So he's like, I can stick to the bruises, I can be the facilitator, we can play a different draft with a different style, which can really upset the prep if your opposition doesn't really know how to respond to that different game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it means coming into a series like this, not only do you have to prep for 2 games, you have to potentially prep for 2 games with different junglers.
Yep.
And that just makes the whole process so much more laborious and so much more has to be thought out to a greater degree. And the Aphelios is going to be the adaptation here from the side of Mammoth, pairing it with the Ahri to create a bit more comfortable of a pairing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, can you imagine their spreadsheet, the amount of mock drafts they probably have, like hundreds, all in the anticipation of like, if this person's locked in, if that side is locked in, if this was to go our way, far out. It's a little bit too much to try and bear. But if Aphelios is locked in this time, taken away by the side of Mammoth, and the Ahri also there for Dajong, a champion I feel like he's much more at ease with, as opposed to, say, like the Bruises, for example. Just gives him that pick potential to allow him to be that much more omnipotent on the map to, I suppose, really match the Annie in terms of those roaming ganks.
Yeah, absolutely. Cassante didn't have the greatest showing in that mid lane, and to your credit, he does fare a lot better on these assassin engagey, more damage-oriented champions who can contest that. That being said, as we look towards the bot lane, it is the Aphelios Jinx trade of old. Obviously, last game, Raze showing out on the Aphelios, really showing what he can do, but Jinx, no slouch either, being able to find that one reset can just mean a fight's over.
That it certainly can, and they banned away once again. 2 champions from Sorli, Kha'Zix as well as the Kindred 2. No ability for him to try and carry by being very, very frustrating in the jungle there. But also the Malphite ban from Mammoth. We saw this played by Chippies, where it was the case of we need some reliable way to target a squishy, immobile AD carry in the backline. And I think they even had like a Zeri in that game, and he was still able to get the unstoppable force and knock up multiple members.
Absolutely. I mean, this game is already tough for Aphelios to play against the likes of Annie and Wukong. You throw a Malphite over the top of that, and it's nearly impossible to have the awareness to be dodging everything that's coming your way. So as we head into this second phase, I'm assuming we're going to see Biopanther on a tank. Something like the Ornn is going to be the play here, and then saving your 5P for Aladoric, who really shined last game on Thresh.
I think this is the versatility, once again, that Chiefs have, right? They can definitely save their counter pick based on the team they're versing. Who needs the 5P more, right? Is it Kiste to try and excel? Is it Biopanther to try and showcase his knowledge, his experience, his wealth of champions? Or in this case, is it Aladoric to showcase that, hey, look, we're going to make sure that this bot lane pairing is, you know, unbeatable. As Sorli is going to confine himself to the Vi. Another grand reveal. What gets paired with this Aphelios? Is it going to be a Nautilus like we've seen him play already? Would it be a Fresh? Or would he try something a little bit spicy and return to that MVP-worthy Alistair?
There it is. When in doubt, play the champion you are statistically most likely to win on based on your career. And when I'm taking a look at the Mammoth Esports Club composition, they've got the Ahri, they've got the Vi, they've got the Alistair. So much to come and threaten onto this immobile Jinx. So, Yosan, he showed up in the Bliss series. Can he do it again against a tougher opponent?
I like this adaptation. A good reason why they actually saved that 5p for Aladoric, right? The fact that they can lock in a Tahm Kench, that Devour is going to find so much value. Any kind of engage, be it a Vi, an Alistair, a Charm, an all-out, you know, suddenly you're not really in that situation of, hey, I'm in a lot of trouble. Devour comes across, all that time to try and reassess yourself. And I would say a little bit more reliable than having to try and click a lantern, which can be warded on or just stepped on.
Yeah, and you talked about Vi. I mean, Vi ultimate literally useless if Tahm Kench is available because he is just going to eat you and Vi is going to end up standing there kind of wondering what the hell happened, what am I meant to be doing. So to me, it's going to be on the members like K'Sante, like Alistar to split the fight up or to land multiple person CC. Make sure that Tahm Kench is previously occupied because like you said, if he's able to sit on top of that Jinx, she's just going to be able to free fire.
Absolutely, and they cannot afford for Raze, already in form in this series, to have another repeat of game number 1 on a champion that you would say is even more oppressive to handle, right? The fact that you can just have all that mobility and I suppose the threat in lane to lock you in place with the Super Mega Death Rocket.
Yeah, definitely going to be a matchup of the bot lanes here. That being said, mid lane once again feels like the catalyst for any action we're going to see in terms of those both champions having CC, having that high burst potential to be able to find those picks. And the deciding game in a best of 2, feels a bit weird saying the deciding game, but the deciding game as to whether the Chiefs will walk away still undefeated 9-0, or whether Mammoth will continue the trend of drawing every series they've played so far.
Would be a massive buffer here, Max, if they were to go another win and sit at the throne with 9 points and nobody close, not even a chance to contest them anytime soon, and showcase that they do mean business. New split, but the same overall outcome. Let's see what Mammoth can do to answer it back here in game number 2. They've historically been able to upset things and bring it to a draw. Can they do that once more?
Already, Kisei getting off to the dominant start, proccing that first strike. Can I just say, you want a bit of a rant before the game starts?
Yeah, go
I
for it.
absolutely hate the mechanic that first strike procs when you have Annie shield on. Even if they take damage. Like if an Ahri throws a Q, but you have a shield, you will proc your first strike. I just hate that.
Yeah, you'd think that would mitigate it, but no.
Yeah, you'd think that you get damaged first, they should be the ones proccing first strike. You
100%.
shouldn't. But somehow, because you do damage them with your E, you get gold. But anyway, that's my little thing.
Look, we can take that one to Reddit. We can call it Spaghetti Code.
Yeah.
We can say Rito please or any of those kind of copy pastors. Doesn't matter, does it?
Kisei is bankrolling though. He's made what, 10 gold?
Happy days.
Getting started very early on in this game as the Annie here. We know that Kisei is not one to shy away from a mechanical 1v1, and Dajong especially, you know, on the younger side of things, entered the league around a similar time as Kisei, but hasn't had the luxury of playing on the teams of the caliber that Kisei has. So
100%.
really trying to prove himself that he can hang with the bigs on the rest of Mammoth.
That has been my big talking point for Dajong this entire split, right? The fact that you've had this big opportunity now to play with some of the big dogs in the region. Let's see, you know, with a roster that can be there to protect you, to facilitate you and empower you more than anything, can you do just that? But into Kisei, an individual that kind of just stomps anybody in his way, it's a tall order. Really is a massive ask.
Absolutely is a very tall order. And, you know, Dajong, to his credit, just trying to survive these first early levels. We know that Kisei, as soon as he gets at level 6, he's going to be looking for explosive trades, even just to get money with that first strike. But for now, not really expecting too much to come out of this lane. The major focus for me is this bot lane as we get towards that level 3. Both junglers pathing down, acknowledging that much like last game, this is really going to be where the game turns on ahead.
Quick check-in with the summoners also in the bot lane. No cleanse whatsoever. You'd say on the side of Raze there, kind of makes sense, right? What are you going to really cleanse? You need more of the protection from the Devour. But I'd say for a Philios, there's a world in which, right, you just get absolutely one shot from an Ornn, from an Annie engage, right? And definitely does tell towards the more greedy aspect of those team fights where you want the uptime to keep running members down. We've seen 2 attempts at a potential first blood here, but no bueno so far.
No bueno. Potentially the wave not crashing here could have some ramifications for Chiefs bot lane as Sully's here.
Looking for it. It is going to be the headbutt pole onto Aladoric, who's going to be forced to try and run away. It's a fair bit of damage on towards him, but the Fixed Skin is going to do a great bit of work to try and mitigate that. Straight back in with the Abyssal Dive, looking to try and keep them interested because Babip is on the hunt. A flash forward. Let's go for the tongue lash and guarantee the kill as Babip gets knocked into the turret, but it is not enough to deny the inevitable. You first blood me game 1. And I return the favor back in game number 2.
Aladoric, the MVP of that play.
5 HP.
As Dajong walks away with a sliver of health, but back to that bot lane play, it's Aladoric who holds his nerve. You know, typically a lot of times would flash there, predicting that the Vi is gonna flash and use that Q to use the CC. As we see it once again, initial headbutt pulverize combo lands, and this is what I'm talking about here. Stand still, and this enables him to re-engage after the fact with that abyssal dive and get the kill onto Sully for first blood.
You see the zap, the tongue lash, the guaranteed uptime to try and make that kill a reality. Then Yurson just gets a great angle with a flash headbutt to try and at least trade 1-4 into Babbitt. Instant up awareness and deny it all.
Absolutely, and mid lane, whilst that's happening, Kisei, I mentioned that there wasn't going to be many solo kills pre-6, but Kisei really wanting to undo that narrative and prove that even before he gets access to that Tibbers, he's going to be a threat. So around this mid lane, neither flash available, definitely a point of concern.
Really, every summoner being expended across the map, right? Only Flash is left in the bot lane and double TP, or double summoners rather, for our top lane bruisers as we check in with them now. It's a commanding lead so far here for Tien on the Cassante. There's a few minions for Biopanther to collect once it does crash, but that's where you want it to be, right, for Tien?
Yeah, absolutely. Tien, once again, continuing his trend of lane dominance, particularly in the early game, right? He almost always seems to have priority, almost always seems to have a lead. And when you're playing against Biopanther teams, that's quite a good thing. It doesn't often go unpunished, right? Because when you're playing with Biopanther, he is the weak side Titan. He is the rock in the top. He's almost going to get 0 jungle attention guaranteed, right? You know you're happy to play that 1v1. So if Tien is happy to constantly pressure the turret, pressure plates in a gold lead, that's all we can ask for the top laner of Mammoth.
It's a curious one because we don't really too often see the attention from junglers towards the top lane. There's definitely been cases where, like, you know, you're drafting a Renekton, for example, and it's definitely going to be a big target on your back. But it's almost like you can afford to be this aggressive as a bruiser because you know, hey, they're going to be much more interested in ganking middle bot.
Yeah, absolutely. And level 6 is coming online, but given the mana bars, you are assuming both of them are just going to get this wave in and look for a reset. Meanwhile, the first dragon has spawned. We saw a lot of conflict around these objectives, and particularly mid-game setting up vision even before these objectives started in game 1. So you wonder if that is going to be a motif here. As we mentioned before, no flash on mid lane. Ari should be getting level 6 soon. This could be an avenue for a play.
Yeah, wondering whether or not Sully would be game enough to try and make something happen pre-level 6. Definitely can charge up the rocket and launch himself into effect. That's certainly what he's looking to try and do right now, but it all relies on Darshan landing the charm, but that is whiffed and the fight's gone.
That's one of the tough things about Kisei as well, is not only is he so dominant, but when you come to pressure him, he has this awareness and the mechanical ability to dodge the necessary CC that you have to land. Like you mentioned, that charm goes wide, the play's off instantly, there's nothing you can do without that Bi-6 coming through. And because of the pressure he exerts there, it's a free dragon for the Chiefs.
Yeah, so much time. The opportunity cost more than anything, right? To try and say, if we're going to go for a play in mid lane to punish the fact that this is an Annie without a flash, then we need to make something happen with it. But Chiefs almost read that respect and say, well, we'll just pick up a free objective. We've got ourselves dragon number 1. Sorely not content to farm anymore because there's literally no camps on this side of the map. So Yurson just going to go for a cheeky little pop into the other bush. And they might just now, with the reveal of Sorely, just hard crash this wave.
Yeah, not really feeling like they wanted to fully commit to that play because they didn't know where Babip was, not really feeling confident in that 3v3. So it is going to be Sully saying, all right, I will just pull up to help you get the wave in, help you get your reset. And with the Herald spawning soon, Skimmy, there's a bit of action top lane.
Oh, great flash there from Tien. He was definitely in lethal range. If Bio had connected, second time now. It's happened really in such a calamitous fashion where he's almost entertained the idea that Bio try and take me on, and he always answers.
Absolutely, but this is a very common thing for Tien, right? He's always pressed up and somehow always manages to make just a tiny mistake that ends up costing him. In this case, it's his flash. It's not going to be a death, and he gets the honey fruit, so able to stay in lane, but, you know, a very risky player in Tien.
Certainly is, but it's a gamble he's been known to take multiple times and multiple occasions. It has certainly worked out for him. We'll be hoping it certainly can do justice once again here. As already mentioned, our Chiefs got the very first objective and have now got Aladoric in the mid lane, matching Yurson for a cheeky 2v2. Lots of pings and lots of members on either respective side now, screwing up the idea of the very first Herald as well.
And this is where it all went wrong for Mammoth in game 1. If you remember, it was the botched engage from the Rakan that really cost them off the back of a huge Kisei turnaround. a lot of the factors that contribute to that are still the same, right? Kisei's flash is available. You have the Cyclone up as well. There's so much burst damage available for the Chiefs that if Mammoth misstep, it could end up costing them. That being said, though, Herald's 3K, Chiefs aren't willing to give this one.
And Chiefs didn't feel threatened to really be on the clock to try and take that one down anytime soon. Yurson that entire time is just standing on vision. They don't care. They're well aware of the play. Cheon! HP check. 30 health to his name. Ray's very lucky to be alive. No AD carries in this fight, but a massive Wukong knock-up, but an even better fight. Tippers goes down. The rocket from downtown is not enough to try and find an executioner, but Kisei has done just that and demolished 2 members. Something about this part of the map at this portion of the game time is just cursed. Kisei with 3.
Kisei gets the triple kill, and once again, it's the Wombo combo, the AoE CC of the Annie Tibbers, of the Cyclone, just proving too much. It's going to be a Herald mismatch once again, favoring the Chiefs, and Kisei, the sole victor at the end of that, coming out with 3 kills.
Unbelievable how it all came into fruition. I mean, we'll check in with the bot lane once again. It's just a case of, yeah, we're going to pop some summoners, and Sean says you can't do that.
Yeah, just playing into his range with green-white. Very lucky to be able to walk out here, but as we take a look at this play once again, the initial engage comes onto Babip, but look how effective that Cyclone is. And then off the top of that, it's all the CC coming through from the Chiefs. Kisei remaining untouched, and crucially, Tien isn't able to get the all-out off. He's not able to get that damage off, and that CC that could have so crucially turned the fight. And Kisei, you know, showing once again that even on a champion like Annie, able to produce montage plays.
Always, consistently. The big thing that stood out for me is the fact that Dajung's charm landed, but the Cyclone had already been buffed, so it doesn't even matter if he's been charmed. The ultimate still goes off. It's still found insane value. So yes, you take down Babip, but he's done enough to buy enough time and for Kisei to springboard that massive lead as a result. Summoners were used as a result, so the flash just came back up. Gone again, but now a Liandry's a very strong Annie.
Absolutely, and this mid-gap rather, proving to be an issue once again for the side of Mammoth. You look at those items, it's not even comparable. A Mercury Treads in a Lost Chapter, not even going to be doing anywhere near the damage that Kisei is able to produce. And keep in mind, Skimmy, the Herald didn't actually end up going down, so we could have deja vu and a repetition of what just happened as soon as right now.
Certainly can't afford for that to happen, given that Kisei's also got himself a Dark Seal with 6 stacks acquired. So let's see how it all starts out, because it's TNS being caught, a smite on his head. A Call of the Forge God goes out, 3 members running him down. Sorely looking to try and zone back. Aladoric goes for the ultimate on towards him, trying to split him apart. A charm, a flash away, a fixed skin. That grey health gets converted into something a little bit more.
Oh, no.
Abyssal dive away, and he's survived. No, he hasn't. Cheyenne had tagged him up and sniped him down, and Bio's looking for more. They're not content with just finding that. They'll flash across the wall inside the pit and say, Sorely, you're a red buff, and I've taken you.
Absolutely, Raze gets a 2-in-1 deal, flashing over himself and picking off Sully there. It starts off with Tien getting caught out. Aladoric off the back end almost looked like he was able to get out using that Abyssal Dive, but the Gravitum active coming through for Cheon to secure that kill. But overall, across the board, it's the same thing. Mammoth are simply late to the play. They get 1 in return, but they get punished and they lose an objective because of it.
Seems to be their big weakness right now, the Achilles heel, if you will, in these games, is that when they have to group up for the objectives, Chiefs is a little bit too clean, a little bit too compact, organized, and well orchestrated.
The 1 point of strength, though, has to be this Aphelios here, sitting at 1-0-0. As we take a look at this replay again, it starts off with Tien, who hits the Herald, trying to get stacked on those Intofo strikes. You obviously want to show up to a fight with 3 of those, but gets caught out. Sure, the Ornn ultimate is used, and sure, they have to commit some resources to take you down, but they still have the Tibbers, they still have so many tools, and look how long Aladoric survives for here, right? He buys so much time, forces the Aphelios ulti to be used, and then off the back of this, Sully really caught in no man's land.
Really is going to get headbutt knocked up, zapped, and flashed to safety, but if we know anything from Raze, he will always take that flash trade, does not care, will guarantee anything to get fed.
Bad guy Kisei using the ultimate as well, trying to take that for himself, even though his AD carry uses flash.
6-0 though is the combined score between the 2 carries of the Chiefs. Not a bad scoreline to look at, as Tien's life doesn't get much easier, can jump away from the Chompers, but finds himself a Devour. Tongue Lash was good enough. The Zap goes out a little bit too early right now, tries to go unstoppable, tries to knock him away.
Ooh.
Successful in doing just that. And now Aladoric is in a fair bit of trouble. Biopamper needs to try and make up some space. Flashing away to hit the Blast Cone back beneath his tower. And then going to sidestep out 1, sidestep out a 2nd. Really trying to play happy feet right now. as it seems the inevitable is going to happen, and Raze finally runs him down.
He played that well, using the all-out to get Aladoric across the wall, but ultimately not going to be enough to survive. He is taken out. Meanwhile, on the other side, though, Kisei does die, does have to use the flash. We'll have to see the replay of how that happened. But Chiefs, they've got the Herald, they're dropping it, and this feels like deja vu. The Herald dropped right before plates fall, giving Raze as much gold as humanly possible.
Perfectly timed and perfectly positioned to do just that. Ray's going to be a very happy chappy, given that once again finds himself in such a prime position to carry this game. You did see during that attempt on Tien that Bio was forced to TP down bot side to respond to the pressure that Chaeyoung was presenting them with, trying to always square up the idea of a trade, but certainly not enough to try and dissuade much more. Let's see how Kisei fell victim here.
The cease and desist lands, and really this is the danger of this Ahri Vi combo. They've just got so much reliable CC that the second one lands, you're going to be bombarded with the rest of it, and unfortunately the shutdown is going over to Yersan there. Not the ideal target who you'd want to be taking that, but certainly the gold will be... They'll be grateful for the gold nonetheless.
I played, it really does feel facilitated by the map state we're in, right? Another Chemtech blast cone, if you will, right? So you can really jump from such great distances that, you know, a flash can be held, and in that case, we didn't even have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Kisei now paying a fair bit more respect, as he has to. And this is one of the great things about Kisei is, for all his credit and for all his aggression in the windows where he can be and needs to be, he does respect when his team's on weak side. He notes that his team isn't in position yet. They're having to make their way through mid lane, get that passage of vision so he can play up. But Suli's being caught out here.
Suli's in a lot of trouble right now. Tries to go for the one-man on towards Baba, who literally spins to win like Garen and takes him down in a heartbeat. A one-man tippers onto Dajong, Spirit rushing to safety, running for the hills. His job is done. They don't care. They'll turn their attention to the fight that's taking place in mid lane right now. And now Tien is next on the chopping block, not to be outdone by Yersan, who, despite the indomitable force going on through, his will has been consumed, his life is being taken, and his team are just falling like flies.
All across the board, Chiefs cleaning up. It starts off with Suli as Aladoric. Flashing forward, thinking he's got the damage. Not able to find the kill with that tongue lash, but Suli gets caught out, and it feels like Mammoth want to compensate. They want to find something, you know, to make up for it, potentially save their jungler, but that ends up with Dajong getting chunked out, almost going down, and off the back end of it, it's Biopanther. Now, Biopanther had a great Ornn ultimate, as we're going to take a look at it again. Suli gets a bit greedy for this ward, thinks because he sees Annie at the bot lane that he's safe, but he forgets about Wukong. This Wukong does so much damage with that armor shred, and especially with the Jinx behind him. Meanwhile, Annie finding the positioning onto Dajong, and what I want to highlight here is this Biopanther Ornn ultimate towards the top side. Notes that Chaeyoung has flash. It's not going to do anything. Chaeyoung will simply flash it. Instead, opts to use it on Yersan, find that guaranteed kill, get the Jinx to reset, allow her to keep going forward, and really take over the fight.
And I like that point you raised, because it's then a case of playing towards your side as a DPS, where they will have targets to hit and actually utilize that uptime as a good point. So certainly, on-the-fly decisions like that proving to be, you know, the key difference, really. As Mammoth once again find themselves in a situation where they are so adverse to taking on these full 5v5s that they want to sit to the side lanes, and Chiefs are the ones saying, well, come and fight us. If you don't want to fight us, we'll just run you down. Dajong may have overextended to try and guarantee that their first turret falls on down, but can they turn things around? Can they find something as a result? No, they cannot. Suli just too squishy. 0-5, and Dajong's forced to flash away, but a rocket zap ultimate, and nearly good night.
Yeah, very close there. Yersan looked like he had an initial position, but they were just able to collapse on Dajong, and Suli had to sell himself to make up for the sins of his mid laner. That means there's going to be no smite, no possible way to contest this third dragon going into the hands of Chiefs. Yet another Chemtech Soul on the horizon.
Another quick one at that, it would seem. That would certainly give themselves that position of power just to feel just ever so strong in this game. And I mean, just textbook Chiefs, really, at this point. There's no other way to sure say it. They are just going where they like. They are finding wins. They are finding leads. They are finding the ability to draw the attention of Mammoth to say, you know, you can't play your game plan to come back.
Biopanther is still yet to die in the LCO this split, by the way. I don't believe he died last game, and he's sitting...
He had a perfect KDA coming into today.
He's sitting 0-0-8 right now. This man has 151. This is his 151st game in the LCO, and he's
He didn't die last
playing...
game, did he?
I don't believe so, unless it was right at the very end. But he was definitely deathless up until that final push.
I hope consciously he's aware of that and didn't enter at the fountain.
That's what I'm hoping. He doesn't seem like the type of player to do that.
No.
Knowing Bio, but here we go. just as I've said that, he is in a bit of a pincer situation. He's incredibly tanky though, not the target you want to be diving.
Yeah, and look, honestly, 3 members are there to try and take him on down and get a little bit more out of it, but knowing that Chiefs were there to back him up, the play completely fizzles out. Despite that numbers advantage, they are forced to go back to where they came from. And that is the mid lane, to try and wrestle for control, because once again, they want to try and find that tempo to get themselves a turret. But as you say, Kisei on such a great flank, with a flash, with a Tibbers, with a target in mind, won't go for Chain, will just go for Sully, and say, Sully, you were literally a non-factor in this game. A rocket coming out of the Jinx there to try and steal it away. It does not matter.
We saw the flash. We thought that a play was going to happen. Instead, Ops, hey, there's a Vive right in front of my face. Why not just take the free kill? And does exactly that. Sully now sitting at 0 and 6. Not the game he wanted as Babip gets caught on.
And he certainly does. Pops the clone and will seemingly be A-OK unless the Moonlight Vigil connects with the charm with the damage to the flash.
Oh, no.
And the shotgun that Cheon committed for
goes the way of Dajon. It hurts when your AD carry burns flash and doesn't get the kill. That makes him so vulnerable now playing against Wukong, Ornn, and Annie.
Yeah.
Annie with flash nonetheless as Tien once again caught up between a rock and a hard place. Just going to be able to walk out though, and really feels like Cheon sitting at 1-0-1, the only deathless member, wanted to take it upon himself to carry, but gets that kill crucially denied. As here goes Sully.
Well, I think it gives us a bit of an insight into sort of the desperation that Mammoth feel under right now. They are committing everything towards this play. This is their Hail Mary. This is their do or die moment, and they'll find Aladoric. They won't get raised, but they've at least got 5 members all on the board to get themselves an assist. To say, we want more. It's now a 5v4. Give us that turret.
The question is though, what does that mean? Are they going to head towards this Baron? They do have red, white gun on Aphelios. I do think it would be risky though, given the lack of ultimates that they have currently. So realistically, when you look at that play, they burn all of that just to kill a Tahm Kench who's going to respawn. They don't get a Baron. Chiefs, sure, it hurts for Aladoric's KDA, but beyond that, they're not going to feel too bad about that death.
Yeah, unable to really run towards that Baron, given the fact that Sully wasn't there, and I think maybe there's a world in which you feel confident enough to take that fight, knowing there's no protection of a Devour there to try and delay the inevitable. Maybe you get a few more kills with the empowerment of that Baron buff, but unable to commit towards it, and Chiefs say, well, easy as you like it, Baron on spawn, we'll start it up then.
Absolutely, and keep your eyes on Kisei. Has the flash, has the Tibbers available. If there's anyone who's going to be able to spontaneously turn and find a one-shot, it's him. But Baron's putting down Skimmy. It's on 4K already.
It's so low, and Sully's looking to try and find his moment right now, but getting zoned away by his side of Chiefs. Out goes the Tibbers, down goes the Baron. Secured here by Babbitt so far. In jumps Tien, unable to find his moment in the all-out mode that he's trying to really isolate a key carry. Babbitt cycles into life and says, Chen, don't you wish you had your flash now? He certainly does, Max, but it's not to be the case. And they scurry to the hills, running left, right, and center, saying, we just can't beat you.
They get the Baron, their backs are against the walls, but they are not backing down. Neither is Dajon.
Dajon's trying to interrupt their resets, their recalls, their chance to try and stay in this fight. In goes Yorsung with a pole that looks to try and lock them all in place. Raised across the wall with no mana, no damage, no chance to make anything happen. Baron-inspired recall, back to base he runs. Bind-Pepper looking to protect that KDA. Will he die? Will he fall? Will that KDA be ruined? As Aladoric is looking to try and survive for as long as he can as well. Empowers the vision. Where are Mammoth running to? We've got you. We've got now Yurstun on the menu. In he goes with the Abyssal Dive and takes down the cow. Double kill here for Babip, who started off the play flawlessly.
Yeah, Babip fighting the initial engage on towards Chow, taking him out before that Baron play even started. Off the back end, the low health bars bait Mammoth in. Yursan, Tien think they can get something done. Sure, Tien finds a pick, but here we go again. It starts off with Cheon walking in. He's so unprotected, doesn't have anyone around him. Dodges the initial Tibbers, but it's the Ornhorn. It's the Wukong ultimate that find their way onto him. And once Cheon's taken out, it doesn't matter that Chiefs are in the pit. They can walk out. They've got the Jinx reset, and they just have their way with this fight.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, it starts with the Cyclone, then Aladoric just layers it beautifully to wait for R2 to come on through. But by that point, Mammoth are so scattered. You can see Dajon entertaining the idea of maybe we going for a Charm, and it just forces Mammoth to go again.
Yeah, Charm lands, and Tien thinks, hey, I can do something here. Finds the CC onto Raze, but the all-out, crucially, doesn't take him over the wall. Raze gets out. Sure, Kisei dies, but that only enrages Tibbers, makes it do more damage, attack faster, and take Tien down in the aftermath. And then, yes, Biopanther's not dealing the most damage, but hey, Babip's here, and Babip has a Black Cleaver, has Divine Sunderer. He has more than enough to round out this fight.
Ran out a fight and ran out a victory, it would seem here. It's a bit of a victory lap, if nothing more, as Cheon goes in with the Moonlight Vigil and tickles the air around him. As Here will be down a crucial ability to try and square off the idea of Chiefs ending the game right here and now. 23 minutes in and they found at least one inhibitor in the bot lane. Second now being teased at in the mid lane as BioPanther cops the Everfrost, but buffers it with the Bellows Breath away.
BioPanther took about 15 Aphelios auto attacks, a charm, a full combo from Ari, and is sitting at 50% HP as TN caught.
Once again, they found their moment, they found their target, and they are not wasting any time with it whatsoever. Sorely just getting space glided on here by Raze, who says, where are you going? Your base is that way. A double kill now for Raze to get excited to run back in. Rocket goes across, pads up your son, gets them low, lets the rest of the team try and finish it off. And that's exactly what Kisei does. In they go, Babbitt flanking and running and only buying time as Raze left, right, and center. Which target does he focus first? He wants one. He can't get the crit to get the kill to get another reset. So we'll have to resign to getting a second inhibitor.
That might actually be big. That might actually mean they can't end the game here. That being said, not looking like Mammoth are going to be coming back anytime soon. The Chemtech Soul in the hands of the Chiefs, you'd have to imagine. And Raze, he won on the Aphelios side. He's now sitting at 7-0-5 on this Jinx. Looking like the Raze of old, the perfect player.
The perfect player, a nickname given for good reason too. Just always finds a way to look so elegant on this role and make it look so effortless in how he plays. They will find themselves another soul point. They have guaranteed themselves back-to-back Chemtech souls at just that. And once again, Mammoth fighting on death's door.
Yeah, absolutely. Tien trying to make something happen here, right? Finds a third and Topo Stroke onto Kisei. Sully goes forward, but who's with him? Cheon is stuck in the backline getting 1v1 by Babib. Yosan not able to find that engage either. And this is one of the drawbacks of this Vi and Ari comp is that if you get into the late game and you're not ahead, you can't blow up those targets. You just look like these two single target damage characters who don't really offer much in these extended fights, and Raze is so close here to getting both kills if he manages to get a crit. Chiefs just having their absolute dominant performance in Game 2.
Having a field day with their opposition, it would have to be said. I mean, both games have been stomps, to really put it lightly, and still yet to truly see Chiefs be tested. We certainly had our eyes set on this one as being that potential indication of it, but it has not matched it in terms of its output. It has been a case here of Chiefs showcasing that another day in the office and another victory at just that. Up by 10,000 gold, and only one inhibitor denying them of the perfect base.
Kisei Flash is up as well, as we see Supers pushing in every single lane. Mammoth, they have to make their final stand here. This third inhibitor goes down. It doesn't get any easier. Ornhorn's out.
Ball of Forge God goes down, knocks up Chen, but far too far away to try and commit to a fight right now. Looking to try and zone him, are they? As in goes Yosan, looking to try and knock as many meters up as he can. BioPanther looking to try and flank them away and guarantee the turret falls on down. That's been secured here by Raze.
Eyes on
Getting
Kisei.
excited, looking to get a little bit of uptime. Two-man Tippers, and it's lights out. It's a little bit too free. He's found his moment. A flash Tippers. I mean, it wasn't ever too easy for Kisei to make it look that good. He's found what he needs, he's got it done for the team, he's opened up the base for Raze to explode into life and try and square up a Baron, or rather a Penta, with a Baron-inspired team to really square this game down. I mean, ultimately, this has been a shellacking in 26 minutes, really upping the tempo from game 1 through the 2.
Don't die!
And he's going to fall on down here, unfortunately. 10-1 is the scoreline for him, but still undefeated and unkillable is BioPanther.
BioPanther, unkillable. Chiefs undefeated in this series and undefeated in the league, sitting alone at the top of the standings, proving once again that they are the kings of this league. They're the kings of Oceania, and not even Mammoth can stand up to them.
They certainly can't. They tried. They gave it a good run for their money. They tried 2 different drafts and ultimately were unable to find an answer to shut down their opposition. They had a lot of moments, I would have to say, more so in game 1 than 2, quite honestly, from my perspective at least. But back to the drawing board, I suppose, for them. And as for Chiefs, you know, there's a reason they got their posters on either side of the studio.
Yeah, I mean, if they keep in this form, then we might just have to try and make space for 3. Just keep the line going of all the Chiefs posters. But look, I'm getting ahead of myself because we just want to focus on this game. Number 2 here was a different take, a different viewpoint from Mammoth that they wanted to potentially bring out in game 2, but didn't work. Poltron, did you like it a little bit more? Do you think that there was more potential in what they had drafted?
Well, the game definitely seemed a bit closer. I think, again, the game started to shift away at that 8-minute mark, at the Rift Herald play, right? One big thing, I will say, for this series, especially Game 2, disengage, re-engage, right? Chiefs, very, very good at this. Every time Mammoth jump in, they're just disengaging, peeling back, using the time catch ultimate, using any stun to space, letting Raze free hit, get the reset, Again, like I said earlier today, Chinks, one of the strongest team fighting AD carries. You get items, you get the reset in the fight, you're now space gliding. Wipe the entire enemy team.
How do you work on disengage, re-engage? Like, how do you get better at that as a team?
Well, that is a trade secret, actually.
Okay,
I'm not revealing how I would teach my team Divals to get better at that, but it does come down to understanding your comp identity very well, and again, your individual champions.
Okay, so you have to have a pretty deep understanding of what you want to do. Obviously, good communication is going to be a bit of a key one there, and Chief's showing that they can just stand up, they can do whatever they want on any team comp. But for Mammoth, Max, was there a standout moment where you were impressed, despite it not being a win for them? At least you were like, this is a showing, and this is instilling why we think that this team is probably going to be in top 3, as Bio put it.
It was definitely a showing. I don't know about a good showing. I think that overall, every time, and I think, Poltron, you called it out perfectly, it was the same thing. It was the Herald fight where they come in disjointed, they don't respect the Annie, huge tibbers, both fights that just completely turn the game. And then you have this Jinx and the Phalios in game 1 running completely rampant. We see here 31,000 damage. It really felt like they didn't play around the bot lane very effectively, despite Yersun being so prolific on these engaged champions.
Some nice little stats, some more numbers here. It's so hard to look at last week and realize that Mammoth put up a great showing. Okay, last week Mammoth put up a fantastic showing against Bliss. They ended up going 1-1. I thought that that's what we were, even though my prediction wasn't that way, I thought that that's what we were going to see today, Skimmy. Like, I really thought that there was at least going to be this pushback, some numbers in their favor, something to do with this team comp or this matchup that could have gone Mammoth's way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think I was still quite happy with the score going 2-0 in favor of Chiefs, but I much more expected a really good test for the side of Chiefs to go into, right? I expected a much more competitive game coming out from Mammoth. I think ultimately, yeah, there's just a few too many mistakes at crucial moments, especially the objectives at the early game, like the Herald, for example. I feel like that's where it fell flat both times, where they were just unable to really, find the moment, then gives a lead. You can't afford to give a lead to Kissei or Raze. No. I mean, once they get that sniff of, opportunity, it's just like, I bet we win.
Taking the game away.
Yeah.
They're a bloodhound. They just run it down. No, it's fantastic. Chiefs not having any mistakes. I've seen it wavered here and there before in previous matchups. This one, there weren't any at all. We're going to have a nice long interview as well with one of the players. We've got Raze on the line. Raze, hey, how you feeling? You guys are going undefeated. Another 2-0 for you. Is it just another day at work?
Yeah, pretty much. It feels good to continue our undefeated regular season streak from last year too, and have a much better showing compared to Split 1 this year.
I'm going to ask, I know you're not going to give me the answer, but it is worth a shot here, okay? Why are you guys subbing out Kevy and Babip like this? You did it last week, you did it this week, and then on top of that, why did you start with Kevy this week and then sub in Babip?
Yeah, like you said, I can't give you the answer. I don't know the answer. I can't really explain it. Yeah, we're just doing a rotating jungle system right now, and it's pretty hard to find out how to actually do that. But just having another pro player watching scrims and reviewing, it just helps a lot in Oceania, where support stuff is really, it's usually one coach doing everything, which is way too much work.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much working in your favor at the moment. You guys are looking great, even subbing in and out your junglers like that.
Well, I have a question for you, Raze. Probably not going to answer it as well, but how do we beat the Chiefs? What are your biggest weaknesses as a team? Because I really want to know.
No ulterior motive.
Yeah, I said this last bit. You just have to get a good draft at least against us. We have to, all our games we lost last year, we just into draft. But this split, we have a good understanding.
You've got
so
that
far,
extra help. 2 junglers, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Another person botting the game with you.
Just beat us in draft, and then maybe they can beat us in game.
What's the communication like during draft then? You say that that's probably one of the areas that you guys were weak on last split. Obviously, you've worked a lot on it. So how are you talking about this? What sort of average time do you think you're putting into draft prep every week or even before a series, before a specific matchup?
I do think Jalal always talks a lot about drafts with Brandon. Biopanther's a big very crafty when it comes to drafts. I'm kind of just chilling, playing Aphelios Jinx every game, so I don't really have that many strong opinions right now. I don't know. I think we just have a really good grasp on it.
Are you sick and tired of Jinx and Aphelios? So you're trying to push in, a new ADC idea? Maybe I can play this one bot lane?
Bit tired of it in scrims, but not like on stage as a champ. It is like a fun hype to carry meta, but yeah.
Get those wins.
Not tired of it yet.
Alright. Anything else you want to add, Poltron?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, alright, look, normally I would ask a game question, but you guys absolutely just slapped today. You guys look fantastic. So, Raze, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on another 2-0. Alright, he's out. Oh, we tried. We thought we'd ask the hard-hitting questions this time around. Normally I'm like, oh, well, what happened during this fight or that fight? But honestly, every fight was for them.
We beat them in that fight. Oh, we beat them in that fight too.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, we were just better.
The one where we beat them?
Yeah, the other one where we beat them.
Imagine the level of confidence in a player just to come into an interview and you're like, you're probably not going to answer. And he's just like, well, this is what we do. This is how you can beat me.
I would love that. We might. Maybe playoffs or something like that.
Imagine a player just comes in and drops every trade secret and is just like, you know what I'm going to do, so beat me. And you're like...
I was going to ask him about draft. I'm like, oh, how many red side, draft openers do you guys have planned? Is it like a three strat type thing where you know at least one of them might get banned out and the other two are undefeatable and you can
just turns around like a strat book and puts it into the camera. It's like,
this is like, anyway, this is everything
this
we have.
Results, this is my champions played, like beat me. And you're just like, what?
That would be some insane confidence. Didn't come out. I understand it. You do want to keep a little bit of secret in the back pocket. And some food for thought for you as well, Poltron, about the draft is where you can beat them.
Yes.
It's going to be a tough one.
Well, obviously my team will be watching this, be like, hey, Poltron, you're the draft guy, you're coaching now.
It's
Fix
all
the draft.
on you.
It's all on me. Raze told you how to beat Chiefs. And I'm like, well, geez, a lot of work for me now.
Well, look, in the Direwolves Chiefs series, whenever we do eventually get there, we can put you up for MVP if you do get a game.
Oh, of course, just slam me back up there.
Yeah. But for now, we're going to look at our MVP. Obviously, 2-0 in favor of Chiefs. I don't know where Twitch chat went with this one. Any ideas, Max? You're normally pretty good with the MVP picks.
Well, I wasn't the last series, but this series, I'm going to say it's Raze.
No reason why. Perfect. Love it. Skimdog?
Everyone who watched knows why.
Literally, you just watch back the games and you'll know why.
I'll say Kissei.
Okay. You want to throw in a third name?
I'm going to go back with Raze.
Okay.
I think he was just best performing.
Yeah, we're doubling down on Raze. We'll see what you guys went for in Twitch chat. Fire Panther! Let's go! I mean, this could be... Look, he's played 151 games now. He had his 150th just before, so... He's consistent.
Look at that.
Unkillable.
What is the KDA? Let me get the stats out whilst you have a quick talk in there.
4-0-22. 58% kill participation. I mean, if you don't die at all in a BO2, you are stable, you're consistent, you win most of your lane matchups, if not all of them. And that's not just this series, right? This is just forever. It's a very high standard he has himself held at. So sometimes maybe standing out for MVP is a bit harder when you're always this good.
4-0-22 today. Currently 19-0-56.
No,
actually.
So he's not died a single time in the entirety of 3 weeks. Yeah, kind of crazy.
6 games.
6 games, 3 weeks, 6 games, 0 deaths.
That's kind of impressive for a top laner when you're playing champions that need to punch on, that need to basically die for the greater good of your team, where your carries are the stars of the show. So yeah, massive hats off.
That engage, disengage that you talked about,
consistency again. Like, he deserves the MVP today. I'll take it that far. You've got to watch this back and hate me. Don't hate me, all right? you deserve the MVP, man. No deaths, what? 6 games, 3 different teams? That's big. That is very big.
Phenomenal feat for him, so very well deserved. Our play of the day, though. This one might be a little bit harder for you guys to guess.
Yeah, look, I struggled to try and find a highlight, really. That was play of the day from the last series we just had.
Yeah.
I went to what happened in the very first series, probably when like we had everybody just jumping around trying to 1v9, like on a Kindred, a Zeri, a Zaya, whatever it may be. I'm going to say it's from the first series.
Maybe game?
I'm just going to say like one of the objective steals.
Okay, all right.
I'm going with Game 2, Series 1.
Okay, Poltron?
Game 2, Series 1 as well, yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look.
Not making it too interesting.
No, you're just siding with Max over there. Let's take a look then. Let's see what our play of the day was. You guys are right. It is our first series, an objective steal. Could you guys be any more right? This is going to be the one where Forever tried. He really tried, and we gave him mad...
A secure. Clean
look at his build again, guys.
Max really
That's really why Max wanted this as a play of the day.
If he had a better build, maybe he steals that through immunity.
That's exactly right. That's what I'm saying.
This is Land for Spite, what ultimate?
If you're the coach of Vertex, you're like, hey, this is the reason why we lost. Change the build.
Maybe he needed more lethality to pierce the immunity.
Yeah. Serpent's Fang. Break the immunity shield somehow. Invent a new mechanic.
Skimmy's actually on the dev team for League.
I've
and
got,
he's
I've
with
got
these
freaking
writing all these
speed dial
back
right now, mate.
notes.
Bust the game, fixed it.
He's like, yeah, that one, you gotta add that one on it for sure, Z's. But you guys were right. I hate it when you're right because
Why?
it means I can't make fun of you.
Oh, can you compliment us instead?
You guys are so good. You're
Thanks,
always
Nat.
right.
Thanks, Nat.
Always. I mean,
Stop
what?
it.
You guys are 100% on predictions.
True.
Yeah, not 100% on MVPs, but that's not on you guys. That's not on
Hey.
you guys. 100% on play of the
But
day
Poltron
picks.
just kind of walked in and said, yep, casting's easy, and just gone off into the wind.
Yo, so I've won, right? If I
Yeah.
don't come on again, I've got
Ever.
perfect predictions.
Yep.
Except,
So forever,
yeah.
I've got perfect predictions.
Yeah, pretty much, actually. It's kind of annoying.
So we copied your homework, and for good reason too.
We sat here and Poltron was like, this. I'm like, yeah, man, whatever he
1-1,
said.
2-0.
Can I get a
Yep,
copy
yep,
paste?
yep.
Can I get a copy paste?
Just copy paste that line, put it down below right next to my name. Beautiful. Yep, thank you for that one so much. But it's been a fantastic day. It's been a lot of action, a lot of enjoyment. Did the Mammoth Chiefs series live up to your hype, though? Max? That was the ultimate question.
I think it, in terms of it being a showing for the Chiefs, it did. I think it didn't match my expectations for how close it was going to be. The Chiefs look incredibly scary right now, and I think if I'm any other team in the league, like Mammoth tested Bliss, they tested PGG, and it didn't look remotely close versus Chiefs. So what does that say about Chiefs heading into their matchups against some of these other top-tier competitors?
Kind of miles above the league at the moment. We'll check out our standings because we saw 4 more teams play today. That means 4 teams had the chance to pick themselves up some points, and my gosh. Chiefs just kind of wanted to take it off of themselves because they get another 3 points. They're now sitting on 9. Next closest is Bliss with 4. They haven't played their 3rd series yet, so they could try and close that gap a little bit more. But obviously then Direwolf still in 3rd. They haven't played yet. Ground Zero, Pentanet, Mammoth, and now Kanga joining those ranks for all 4 of them to be tied on 2 points. And then Vertex, now with their 3rd game, finally got themselves a draw and a point on the board. So there's a lot of games to come, a lot of points to be won still, a lot of points to be awarded. So nothing's clear in the standings except that Chiefs are looking fantastic.
Yeah, Chiefs are pulling away. And again, getting 1 point on the board for Vertex, baby steps, right? Improvement. All you want to work on is 1 point, 1 point. Finally get a 2-0 down the line.
Yeah, just keep on adding 1 point to themselves. And like I said, we saw our 4 teams play today, which means we have another 4 teams coming up that will be playing. It's Ground Zero Gaming up against Team Bliss to start our Tuesday. And then Direwolves, Pentanet. Which one's the series to watch over there, Max?
Direwolves, Pentanet.gg, I think, for no particular reason besides someone's involvement on this very couch.
Yeah,
I don't know who that could be.
That's an interesting one.
Look,
But
I think the narrative is almost very similar between what we had today in terms of like an upset potential for Ground Zero into Team Bliss, very much akin to what we had with Mammoth and Chiefs today. Maybe Ground Zero with two draws can do something crazy to upset Bliss, and I think Direwolves and Pentanet will be definitely that case of, okay, who deserves to be in that top 3, top 4 conversation, right? Who can look to try and rival the rest of these teams? So, Poltron, don't enter the draft, mate.
In the draft.
Wise words.
Whoa. Big expectations for me now.
Yeah, we're
Promise me
gonna.
down.
You got the predictions right today, mate. I'm sure you can get them right tomorrow.
2-0. Direwolves 2-0.
All right, bet.
That's all I'm saying.
Copy paste.
Wow, that's a big bet. Any predictions though on what you reckon your opponent's gonna draft? Put it all out right now. So far, you're 100% on today, so this could be a lucky day. If you put it out there, they might just pick it.
Well, one thing I'll say, Pentanet love to cook. They love to cook stuff. They love to watch what LPL, copy their drafts. I'm not too sure what they're going to pick tomorrow. All I know is, okay, I've got my drafts right here.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're picking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Pentanet, pick whatever you want. Good luck.
It doesn't matter. That's some big confidence.
Do you ever look to like the From the Fans segment and say, people are asking for these champions. Maybe I should draft these champions?
I think last split, when we had Velix's coaching, he was like, oh, Rusty wants Zillion. Guys, we're playing Zillion mid this week.
Based.
That's good.
Great
Sometimes you take a little bit of inspiration from the fans, from the talent out here. I like to think that we sometimes say some smart things.
No. No. Don't listen to the
what do you
talent
watch us
there.
for then?
Sorry?
You only watch us for the entertainment?
Oh, of course.
Okay, fair enough.
Entertainment, great banter.
Yeah.
Good looks.
I'm here to, stir the
Good
pot
looks,
a little
good
bit.
looks, yeah.
Yeah, good
So-
luck
I was
over there.
talking about.
I was talking
That
about-
couch.
I was talking about this couch.
This couch.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed your time though, Poltron? We're going to close out the show. So anything that you've learned from today that you didn't already know, either about League or about these beautiful couches and set here for LCO?
So that's bigger than I expected. That's one thing.
That's bigger than expected.
No, it's great. It's great to be here. Great to be a guest. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Lovely to meet you all.
Yeah, we had some good chats about leaguing in the green room. You guys wouldn't know.
The studio is pretty big. I mean, we are in a warehouse. It's just really well insulated. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they've got like studio A, B, C, D, all the way down to Z in the corner there. So, I mean, yeah.
They had to just start doing, you know, AA, AB,
That's right.
AC. There's so many.
Well, basically Hollywood.
Basically.
You should coach, Nat. If
I should coach?
If this ever goes south for you, you should coach.
That's it. I have a backup plan
Done.
as
Yeah,
coach,
backup plan.
apparently. All right, I'm putting my resume out there if you guys ever need a new LCO coach. Putting my freelancing skills out there. I got all the stats. I've got all the breakdown. But Amumu.
Locomotive here.
Will be picked. Let that be known. At least once it will be picked if I ever coach anyone, ever in anything. But guys, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great Monday. I know I've kicked off the week in style, in fashion. And we're going to see you guys tomorrow on Tuesday for some more LCO action. Same time as always for those 4 other teams planned.
Damage to complement the Blight stacks. The second dragon comes to life. Quarter of the Forge God goes down, knocks up 3 members. Rose is in focus right now, but the Fane is onto Mayfire, who falls on down. Dante picks up that next one. Into the backline goes Thomas Fina, looking to try and knock them down with all-out mode. He's going to die and give Fido a 5th, but it doesn't matter because Fido died in the end.
Probably not going to happen.
Here's top lane.
We now turn to the top lane, and the Hexagon Item goes out into effect. They flash across and say, Shinky, where you going? Everybody burning it. Shinky's out. The Great Escape. Forced away very early here by Mayfan. Jumping back into the pit. Are they going to make this a 50-50? I dare believe it as they jump in with Tomasino. They found Jake. The Baron is down to 2600. Getting closer and closer to smite range right now. 2K. 20! 20 HP! It was so close forever. I commend you for the attempt.
It was 20 HP the first time. Can he do it again?
Can he do it again? Down to 1100. Oh, he's been stunned! Look at the Baron! It's been held in place because the Lamb's respite. I don't believe it. What an interact. When, as well as your son is there. Chain now making his move known as well. Hexflash goes across. Quickness. It's missed. They've not found who they're after. They can get a charm into Aladoric, but that might be it. Blake, Kissay jumps in with a flash. And then Tip is right after to try and make it all happen. And they found 2 so far. The Moonlight Vigil's just not enough to get to the end, but it is. The Chakrams from max distance guarantee it. Health to his name. Ray's very lucky to be alive. No AD carries in this fight, but a massive Wukong knockup. But an even better fight. Tippers goes down. The rocket from downtown is not enough to try and find an execution, but Kissay has done just that and demolished 2 members. Something about this part of the map at this portion of the game time is just curt. Kissay